Hi guys, how are y'all doing? This is an Astro chat, but it's just gonna be kind of chill. Just want to see how you guys are doing. Personally, these Ascension symptoms, we'll call them, have been very heavy here. Personally, I started to feel really nauseous last night. So I'm feeling much better now, but yeah, how are you guys doing? I'll just like look in the chat. And what's everyone's signs? The way that Alex is staring at me right now, oh my god. Alex, come here, love. Well, okay. Booby. Return to center. Anybody else was feeling nauseous? I haven't felt nauseous like that since high school. I also had a very strong visitation from my guides. So there were different activations of my placements in my birth chart that I came to understand a bit differently and or more deeply. And it was very intense. Hey, Mystic Healer, how are you doing? What's your zodiac sign? What's cleared on the back, lower back? Yeah, I'm curious to know like what upgrades and shifts you guys are going through. You too, Colleen? Oh my god. I've never felt that. That's sick. Like that nauseous. Since high school. Return to the sacral, yeah, so it was very heavy. You too, Sun, Pisces, Mercury, and Sag moon. Wow. You're stellium. Wow. I mean, what I could think of is Mars in Sagittarius, the Sun in Sagittarius, Mercury in Sagittarius, right? Let me check that. Mercury in Capricorn right now. Yeah. Wow. Well, hopefully we will get on members and talk about this. Return to the heart chakra. I received a lot of downloads when it came to my essence, my story. Thank you, Colleen. That's very kind. Thank you so much for your super chats here, you guys, everyone. I also want to say, like, last night, like, in the chat, you guys play a huge role when, whenever we have the chat on, if we do, it's not random, and you guys do cross-channel in the chat, so I want you to know that. Maybe I will come to explain at some point, part of how that simulated for me last night with the chat. It was really intense, the way that things were just coming together. So I don't know why I feel guided to talk about this, but yeah, I mean, some of you may know that I have a few grand water trines. I have a lot of Cancer in my chart. I have my Chiron in Cancer. I have South Node in Cancer in the 9th house. Which is involved in the grand trine. Hey, Athena. Hey, Stay Tiger. So, listen, like, I've come to know my energy in a very different way. Over time, of course, one, but two, like, yesterday was very intense, and, so if you were if you guys were experiencing stuff yesterday specifically, wouldn't be a huge surprise. You know, you're not alone, that's for sure. And I do believe that it has a connection to ancient scriptures. So, and I'm not somebody who's per se religious, but there is a path we're walking, and it's not random. So maybe that's, you know, for you, if you're drawn to this channel, you probably have, you do, yeah, guides that are related to, again, I was not brought up religious. I have not even read the Bible. I think I did once for high school, but, yeah, but connection to Mary Magdalene, Jesus, yeah, so I want to talk more about my downloads with that, which was extremely interesting. I had those intense, yeah, okay, so research, no. Ancient Lemuria. I want to know further what's going on with the astrology in terms of this. Give me a sec. This is about understanding and getting to know better, like, your true tribe. You know, why it is you're here, why it is the things that you feel passionate about matter, and where they originate from, you know. I'm kind of having a different appreciation for the things that I have yet come to channel. In some ways we fight for the future, but we also do so-called stand in a space of our past and our history. Pluto is at 28 degrees of Capricorn. We're going to talk more about this on members, hourly astrology specifically. By the way, guys, hourly astrology, we do extremely specific, sort of more pinpoint reads. It's kind of like a quasi-personal. I'm hearing Lilith, I would say. When I'm in that read, it seems like I can really feel how this is very discretionary, more relevant to fewer people probably, okay, because they're more specific. Yeah, they're very important messages as well. So if you do maybe your hourly astrology member, just keep your eyes out for those hourly downloads. We'll also read more on weekly and monthly and 48 hours. Namely, we'll finish the 48 hours. Yeah, so this is also about understanding your so-called enemies, or however, you know, these, also, guys, yeah, the physical symptoms that you may experience are reflections of, and please obviously talk to your personal practitioner before making any lifestyle decisions, or in general. We have to say this video is for entertainment purposes only, right? Disclaimer. But everything is energy in origin, so it's not random. When I was feeling really nauseous last night, I started to research about the meaning of that, and something pops up about someone who was, I'm not endorsing anything here, but personally I've never touched drugs in this lifetime, and I will not. I don't intend to at all, but depending on what is the definition of a drug, you can say meditation is a drug too. It has a very similar effect. But yeah, take your own path, make your own decisions. But this article about ayahuasca, and he was talking about this what he was feeling through the whole process. Anyways, maybe some of you have tried that. You can feel free to comment. But yeah, it was very interesting. He was sort of giving this the spiritualism, the side of the spiritualistic, spiritual side of why, you know, I didn't know that they would it's like a purging in the sense of actually like vomiting during taking that. So yeah, and that's very interesting. Return and throw. Okay, guys, we'll come back later, all right? We'll come back on. I was really interesting. Okay, this article was saying that it does have DMT in it. I'm not familiar with these things. So, but yeah. Hey, Ron. Yeah, plant medicine. So, right. But it does take you to a more hallucinatory state, right? Like, as we're saying, right? I mean, anything could be considered a drug. As we're saying, meditation, right? Really, whatever takes your Neptune into that, you know, it impacts your Neptune. Returning the sacral, yeah. So, you know, I guess it's different how, you know, the body, yeah, but I don't know. I was under the impression that it was considered that. And I would say that in a way, meditation can also be a drug. Astral traveling can be a drug. Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't work. So, yeah, for some being, interesting. So, I guess anything that would continue to impact and alter your consciousness, there are all kinds of ways to do that. For example, cleansing, fasting. You can reach so-called nirvana, right? So, in this case, it's really about talking on behalf of manipulating your Neptune energy, which can expand the crown. But speaking for myself, like, personally, in this lifetime, I'm not set for that. Like, I'm not, you know, that's not, I need to ground, if anything, because, yeah, maybe in a past lifetime, my sister always makes this joke, I say it all the time, she's like, Nat, I think you did, like, all of your drugs in your last lifetimes. And you don't really need to do them, yeah, so, You also do need to be careful experimenting with different, you know, sometimes people say, oh, well, you know, it's like natural or it's this, and so it's not like a drug, it's not bad. But not everybody's made the same, and everybody needs to also heed their intuition and understand their personal composition. I see it. Meditation is not good for everybody, right? It can really make you susceptible. Tarot reading's not the right thing, is not the thing that everyone should be doing. Meditating and astral traveling, you need to be careful as well. If you're somebody here, you know, maybe you need something else that's more grounding for your constitution. Everybody is made differently. So, but I would say that, you know, given the risk for wherever that, as they say it, plant medicine can take you, that substance can take you, it would be considered, it would fall for me within the domain of consciousness altering activities, substances, and activities. So if I had a client and they needed to really ground their energy, I wouldn't say go and do that. But if you've got someone here who's needing that because they are just so heavily entrenched in shadow Pluto, shadow Cap, and I mean, we have different ways of doing such things. You can achieve the same thing in a different way. This is what the guides are saying to me, and so I really do believe that. Like, some people here, they believe that they need to get drunk and they need to drink to achieve that higher state, but you can also fast. I have fasted and reached the highest state of so-called nirvana that was nearly impossible to achieve with any kind of, you can imagine, eating certain foods or doing certain types of activities. No way. Like that, it was during fasting that I could experience that. So that's where, there's a fine line, because you could get a lot of entities from touching on different types of, it opens your chakras. All right, so it's different kinds of substances. Hey, Andre, how are you doing? Interesting. Ron says it can become super obsessive with the energetic upgrades. Yeah. And I mean, and the thing is, like, too much upgrading, too much, which I can completely understand, because as a somebody who has a lot of Scorpio, if I like something or it's working, I'm going to want to do a lot of it. So it's like, that's why I'm very careful with what it is that I get started off on. And, Return to Sun of the Crown. But, too much meditation isn't sometimes we need to ground. Otherwise, then that's a shadow of Neptune. That's why drugs and the shadow Neptune. You could be floating off in the ether, it's like, yeah. So, yeah, food is vibration, that's right. Yeah, so, whatever food I had last night, I'll tell you, I definitely wasn't resonating with it. So, thank you again, Colleen. That's really cool to come through, and everyone here, you guys, supporting in your ways. This collective. I was just saying that, you guys were like really channeling, because last night I was going through this like really strong upgrade. It was really uncomfortable. It was intense, and I was getting I had probably one of the most profound downloads that I, in the context of like my soul path life calling, like why I'm here. Okay. And then part 2 was, the most like, I haven't felt that nauseous since high school. Yesterday was really intense. I mean, from my perspective, but maybe we all have, Colleen says she felt similar, but we all have maybe some different transits, but I was really curious. Like, I wanted to get on live. Even when I woke up in the middle of the night, I started feeling really nauseous, but then I was like, I feel too nauseous, I may throw up on the live, and I don't want that to happen. So, yeah, I was kind of just going through it and stuff, but I was wondering how you guys were doing. Yeah, Michelle, if you want to share, maybe it's helpful for other people here. What kind of habits? You know, I think that was the thing to do. That was the thing to do, to fast and go, yeah. Oh, man. But, yeah, Spirit needed to tell me something clearly with that. Sage, I don't know if you're here, but maybe on play, whatever, when you end up maybe watching the, maybe you are here, whatever, okay. No, but, yeah, basically, yeah, you had commented something with an eggplant and a knife. It's kind of a weird story, long story, but yeah, that was like really a channel message. Yeah, so I was watching back, I was just like, wow, Spirit was really talking very clearly right there. And I was just saying that you guys do really channel and you play a part in this chat. I'm sure for myself, but also for other people when they come back, you know, the things you guys say sometimes in the chat really are like really underlined. Oh, yeah, I see. Throat chakra. It's clear throat. Yeah, so, you know, what do you mean we all slept for dinner last night? What do you mean? I was barfing my dinner. But it wasn't even my dinner. I mean, I basically, I don't know if this is TMI, you guys, but yeah, I basically did. Okay, yeah, listen, I'm gonna, whatever, okay. I'm just gonna flow with the chat, so. We have another Andre in the room. Andre 316, Andre 303. Interesting. Is it your birthday, Andre? 316, Pisces. So hearing your experience makes sense to me. Happy to hear that. Yes, I don't know why, because at some point I was slightly hungry. Yeah, I think that because we had some really, I mean, yeah, so. What's everybody's zodiac sign here? Oh, I'm happy to hear this. Let's clear on the crown. Oh, you're Aries? Interesting. Oh, wow. I think that most people watching my channel, you have quite somewhere out there you got Pisces. A lot of Pisces in your chart. Happy birthday, Lee. It's your birthday today? Wow, happy birthday. Hi, Ann. Scorpio. Oh, and where, I said, where are you from? Well, maybe do you know your star seed origin from the galactic? But yeah, maybe also where are you from, like, on the grid right now, like, where are you residing at? And how did you feel last night? Because, yeah. So the thing about Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius, and we right now at present have Sun and Mars there. Hold on, no, the moon is not. Okay, for a second I thought maybe the moon was also in Sagittarius. You know, Jupiter can tend to get really, it expands, it gets a little bit heavy and overwhelming. Right, the incarnation date. So what do you guys think about, and Spirit just wants to, I guess, bounce around, but what do you guys think about, because, you know, I told you guys recently when we were in the other Astro chat that my grandfather passed away. The day that we did that other Astro chat, I found out right after it, where with a purple sticker with an 8.5 in my hair, and then we were walking across the bridge. Well, it was very interesting because a few days prior to that, he came into my dream and he alerted me that he was going to be passing. And so basically I mentioned this partly because the whole experience was very like eye-opening for me when it comes to Pluto and 8th house and so-called death. So I'm kind of curious to ask you guys, what do you think? Because throughout, I was very close to him, like our connection, we there was a lot of significance to our connection, I feel. And so I noticed his subtle, we'll say, upgrades, through time. So, for instance, when it was right as Isaac came into my story, something happened with him and his health. And I just like felt it, that he started to, I believe, and this is like, for instance, we have software and then we have hardware. So our physical body, right, is here. We are incarnate form, but then we obviously have our soul, our essence. We have our downloads. And so our soul decides what it wants, where, and at what time, and to what degree. And so I kind of felt like his so-called soul had even reincarnated. And it's really interesting because there are so many, it's kind of like a blessing. Like there are so many transmutational elements in the way that Isaac came into my life, in the way that his life so-called started to change in the physical capacity. And so do you guys remember that time when I was in New York and it was in the car and I had Astro chatted you guys, and return to center. Yeah, I had taken Isaac to New York. So yeah, I was visiting him, and it was right around the time, more or less, that it would have been equivalent 1 year to now that he actually passed. And so when I saw him there, I knew it. Like, it was weird because Spirit didn't want me to for him to be with Isaac in the 3D. It was really weird, but it was very obvious. And so there's a lot to that maybe at some point, like, I'll also share. But yeah, basically, when I saw him that day, I knew that it was our last time. And we were like, it was a very strong energy exchange. Like, it was the portal. So it's like, to say it in this way, that I feel like things happen kind of before they do, if you know what I mean. Like, what do you guys think about that? When someone so-called passes, do you think that, it's kind of like, not really when we see it, kind of like a shooting star. It's like it already kind of happened. Interesting, Alyssa. Like, I feel like his soul was already traveling and transiting, and he already caught another train, and he already, very interesting. But yeah, you guys feel free to share like your perspective. And so I would assume that similar to birth, like, call it what, walk-ins. So, you won't really be your full actual self necessarily just because you're born yet. Like, your soul, downloads into your human 3D over time, and it may, you may pull it back onto a server at times. And so we were talking about that. Oh, this was like a year ago, 2 years ago. We were doing an Astro chat outside, and we were talking about how, when you're not talking to someone for a very long time, like, where do you think they go? Interesting. And also, like, when you fall asleep, like, where do you think you go? And I knew it. I felt that so strongly. It's kind of like a huge crossroads. it's kind of like there's some event on Astro that takes place. It's like a major event, like graduation. We already graduated on the Astral. It's like an election, and we already decided, like on where we're headed to. And I really feel that I do feel like, yeah, so wow, yeah. And so, he had a lot of history in New York, and he was the person that I actually, for a period of time when I lived in New York, I lived with him in his apartment, and those times were so sweet. Those were some very cherished times. And then there's very interesting energy, but yeah, to that, one day I want to like talk all about this. I feel like it's also important because, yeah, to what it is that we're so-called again here fighting for. And at the time when I was with Isaac and I were battling so many, remember the whole thing, and it was return it. Right before then I went to Boston with Isaac, which was a very profound trip. I don't know, I'm just storytelling. I'm just jibber jabbering talking. But yeah, if it doesn't resonate, guys, you don't have to watch it. It's for whoever's tuned in. But yeah, like, I don't know, and feeling like it's resonating. Like I say, it's a more passive astro chat, but that was a very significant trip, and well, it may be very interesting for you because you also watching this channel probably do have history in Salem, and there's a really strong undertone to why that matters, and I felt like me and Isaac, like, come to think of it, I feel like my grandfather and I probably did have a very important past life in Salem together, which is very interesting. And it's kind of like a transference of energy. Isaac and I had an extremely important moment in Salem, and it was very odd because I didn't want to visit Salem until apparently I was with Isaac since my college years, when I was going to school in Boston, Massachusetts. I really was dying to visit Salem. Obviously, I was like every Halloween, I'm so close. I'm just an hour away. I mean, not even 30 minutes. Just get on a train and go. Up until all the years through doing, this lightwork channel on this channel, I really was every year wanting to go to Salem, more or less, So, never happened until Isaac and we had our first year, and we were in New York, and there was all this weird bullshit going on, around us. It was just this, they were, God forbid, trying to attack us, and very unfortunately similar things were happening to my grandfather at the time. And Isaac and we were staying in Chinatown. I don't know if those of you know about Chinatown, but yeah, we're getting all of these downloads about China, and it's just very, very weird. Oh, this morning, right before I woke up and I felt very nauseous, I got a really strong download about something about indentured servant, return as a sender. Let's clear the energy, and that makes me think of, I know that I do have a history in terms of past lives when it comes to Asia, very, very pronounced. When I was in Korea, when the minute that I arrived to Korea and I was on the train and I was going into the center city, I started to get all of these downloads I always had an epiphany. I always had an affinity towards Korea, Japan, always. I was very drawn to the culture and all of this. the place I wanted to live in Japan when I was young, Korea. I was literally like researching, like I wanted to open a little, anyway. So the point is for as far as this, I was on the train. As far as this story with the download, I was getting all this historical download about China and Chinese emperors and the Chinese ruling system and all of this government stuff. I mean, it was, and I'm like, what? I thought I was going crazy because I was sitting on this train. I had just gotten off the flight, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I research it. I Google these names coming up to me, and Spirit wanted me to write this all down. So this was all factual shit. I was like, whoa, okay, so there was something going on with that. Now I understood like why it is possibly I'm so drawn to this culture. I know, and it's come very clear to me many times that I do have a connection to specifically a lot of this very difficult, challenging, this generational curse energy is related to returning the sacral, and not just that, but obviously also as above so below positive, related to so-called positive, the return on that challenging karma, China. Anyway, so Isaac and I, Spirit started getting this really clear to us, like when we were in Chinatown and like all this stuff, and like at some point I'll maybe like divulge it more because some of it is, it's like kind of, it's very personal, but basically to say on the general channel we have a lot of whatever, we just return it. It's just maybe not the time, but yeah, there's a lot to this, and it started to just become really obvious. Returning the heart chakra, yeah, I felt like people were like out to get us, especially that night. It was really weird. People you thought you could trust, they flip on you, and you really see they're demons. That was that night. It was Hallows Eve. That was the night that Alex was born. So, the night that I was crying in the car, right? So then return it. So, return it. So then the next day, Isaac and I, we went to Salem, and we were on a family trip. Isaac and I, we decided to go on our own. We took the bus instead of driving with everybody. So Isaac and I were on our own. We technically we drive into return it, Massachusetts, and we started to live our lives like separately. Okay, it sounds like a book, but I mean that's how it kind of started to feel. Like Isaac and I, we just needed to branch off and do our own thing there, and Spirit wanted us alone. So oh my god, do you guys remember that one Astro chat where we were channeling deep into the night, and it was all about escaping from DC, and the reptilians were following them, and the necklace with the beads and the letters? Let's go through chakra. Let me just say, more or less, that's exactly what happened. That was a full year before that happened. And it was literally to Salem. Remember the squirrel who felt guilty, and so he reincarnated? Let's go down the back. Yeah. Now, yeah, this one was a very, Maddie was there. So then we were in Massachusetts, and it was something, it felt like this needed to happen. It felt like this didn't happen, and it needed to happen. And so Isaac and I, we had our time, in going through Beacon Hill. This is so funny because I am a Sag moon, and Sagittarius right now is quite prominent. Sagittarius is all about travel, so it's interesting. It's like we're recounting some travel stories, but yeah. And then I remember I saw that older man, the Beacon Hill. He was sitting in the chimes. Wow, remember that? He was sitting on his porch. There was like and then we took the Uber to Salem, and it was very emotional. Yeah, and then Isaac and I were like two peas in the pod in Salem, and like we were just wandering about, and then yeah. So with the hallway. interesting, yeah. I've had a lot of interesting moments, I'll say. There was that time, you guys must know that Catania holds my heart. Something about karma there is very different as well. The weirdest stuff would happen there. I mean, first of all, I felt very at home. Again, this is like a warning for those of you who are used to the usual Astro chats. This is more of like me talking about, I don't know, my personal transits and stuff, so just as a heads up. But yeah, Catania was very interesting. I started out, I really wanted to do fashion. So I was thinking, oh yeah, Milan, you know. But then they didn't have like a full year program for that, from what I remember. Or what ended up happening actually? Oh, right. So I was actually gonna do the full year in Milano, and then I ended up doing a summer program as well. It was a language immersion because I wanted to like really perfect the language. So I went all in, and I was like getting very focused on that. I started with French. This is starting to feel like I'm just sitting back in the therapy office talking about my whole life story. Oh yeah, but I don't know. Listen, it's not usual for me. I don't. Yeah. You guys know I don't talk a lot about myself here. Right. But so yeah, this is, maybe you guys have, whatever. I'm just gonna continue talking. So return it. So I started out learning French. It was one semester and my teacher was amazing, and I did very well in that class, and then the teacher changed and she was a total you-know-what, and so I started to rebel on my love for French, and I just dropped it. I stopped learning French. You know, the language was getting harder, and the teachers were getting worse, and so I'm like, nah, I gotta switch gears. So then I switched to Italian, and this time I was like, you know what, I want to become really good at this language, and I'm gonna become like extremely fluent. So then that's actually how I met the guy. I don't know, it apparently matters. We did mention this story, and that's what Ron, I think, is talking about. Bye, Ron. The hallway story. So that I met that guy in it was before, because I wanted to learn the language, the Italian language. Oh my god, that is such a sync. Karma Surreal says, oh my god, they are transporting this big prop dragon on a truck past me right now. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, that makes me think. I totally need to mention another sync here, because I do feel like when people pass, they do give blessings, you know, and my grandfather did, like, there was something very particular that he wanted me to have, and so it's something that I recently, it has to do, I just realized, like, I put it 2 and 2 together, that it's alluding to it's a Chinese folklore children's story. Okay, so anyways, and it's weird, because remember I was visiting him, and we were in Chinatown. I never stay in Chinatown when I'm in New York. That was the first time. Actually, I stayed at that hotel once. I'm sounding like an old creaky man. Oh my god. But yeah, it is all good. Yes. It is all good. The guy who left me in the trenches, correct. Yeah, you know, once I see someone's character, that's kind of it. Okay, I can't, for the love of me. You know, I mean, that felt significant somehow. So, anyways, this story has a lot of branches offshooting. But, now, yeah, so we were, and the name of this item is Jade. And Jade. Okay, so listen, there's so many syncs. Like, I wish I could maybe one day I'll write a book or something on it. I don't know. It'll probably be even longer, honestly. Maybe it's easier to just download it here with me talking like Yeah, ADHD, ADHD storytelling. It's not, I swear, it's a channeling too. Okay, so, well, let's get back to it. So we were saying that, yeah, what were we saying? Oh, yeah, I went to Italy. But the whole point is that I knew him because, you know, like it again, I say it again, Pluto, I got Pluto. I go extreme. So it's like, I wanted to be totally, like, ready for Italian. I wanted to know it before I even went to the first class. So I wanted to get that leg up, you know what I mean? So then I went on to this really creepy website, the Crystal Jade. Right, which is, it has origin in Asia. Wow, yeah, right. See, there's so many things, it's like, yeah, sometimes I forget them, like, in the present, yeah, so, now, basically, I went onto this creepy ass website. It's called Busu. I met this weird dude. He was supposed to teach me Italian. He started getting really creepy. He didn't want to show his face on the camera and like all of that. It was getting really weird, and then he started just saying really strange stuff. He supposedly lived in I think it's called Taranto. No, that would be in Sicily, I think. He lived in one of these, like, it was central Italy, I think near Pisa. It starts with a T. So, anyways, I started off on that website learning a bit, but then I realized that I need to get off of that website. This is not safe, and so, yeah, I got off of that website. It was sketchy. And then I went to Facebook. I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I need to learn. I want to learn Italian from a real Italian, someone I can trust. So I went and I literally did a search on Facebook. This age group, you know, different parameters. And so I thinking back on this, I can't even believe I did this. But when it's meant to be, you do it, right? Then I went through this whole list of people. I sent a message out to each of them. Hi, like, I'm American. I'm trying to learn Italian. I'd like to do an exchange. Are you interested to teach Italian or teach English and learn Italian? So this one guy gets back to me. The first minute I saw his picture, I knew. I'm very obviously, I don't know. Yeah, guys, I'm very intuitive, by the way. But I'm meaning that also at that point, like, I was always very intuitive in that way. I listened to my intuition. The minute I know when I see someone, I know what it's going to be. So when I saw his face, I knew it. I was like, there's something, Spirit wants me to talk to this person. Spirit wants me to know this person and wants us to interact. It's kind of like you remember the script, you know? Yeah, that's that character. So I messaged him. He got back to me. He was the only person who even got back to me, which is crazy because I sent this out to like so many people. I heard that people in the South were more friendly, so I actually did target Southern Italy. Anyways, so he was very friendly. He was like, sure, like, I'd be more than happy to. He was very open-minded. You know, he's a more like open-minded Italian type. He was actually already, I think, learning English and immersed in English, and interestingly, he was into, like, Japanese anime stuff, I think, even now that I think back on it. Anyways, yeah, because we would go and eat Japanese food. Wow, this is very interesting. Okay, so anyways, let's continue. So I'll say to this day, you know, he's a nice guy. I just wouldn't trust him, obviously, in the hallway. The hallway may be a metaphor, you know, in terms of relationships. They're a different scale. Yeah, so whatever. Anyways, I started to phase him out as a love interest after we had dated for a long while. But the point now, we started talking. I swear, guys, you can check out if this is mind-numbing. This is not a usual Astro chat of ours. So we started, like, talking online, literally learning Italian. He was a very kind-hearted person. And, yeah, so we started. So then I signed up for a summer session. It was like you can only speak Italian. You can't even, like, talk to your family in English. So I was like, that's it. I'm going to do that. That's the way to do it. The only way. So I really, because again, yeah. My goal was to eventually work in maybe like Paris or Italy, but work with Italian, like, high fashion stuff. So anyways, now then I was in, but he lived in Bari, and so I visited him before. I was talking to him for like a year. We were even dating. It was a long distance relationship. My nose is itching. It was a long distance relationship for like a year. Didn't even meet him until I went to study abroad the following year. So he lived in Bari, which was southern Italy, but not quite Sicily. Sicily being almost like an island set apart, you know, even more south. Closer towards Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, I think, Africa. So, let's clear throat chakra. Anyways, yeah, so he, body is more like the heel. Now, then, the very first place I visited when I landed, obviously, because I kind of felt like I had family there, you know, I knew his family, we were FaceTiming for a very long time, we were talking, we were friends. It's like weird if, I mean, he was like, well, you should come visit me before you go to your program. So even before I went to Sicily, I went to Bari, and so I spent time there and whatever and whatnot, and then I was very sad. You know, I don't know, I have a lot of Cancer in my chart. I get very emotionally attached, and I was like, I don't want to even go to the program anymore. I just wanted to be there with him and his family, you know. I was living with his family, so but then, yeah, I was like, the time is now. I gotta go. I gotta pull myself away, and I gotta just go. By the way, when I first met him, you know, my very first time in 3D, you know, I felt like he was more like a friend, like a kindred spirit, soulmate. And I was very upfront with him on that. You know, some people, I mean, but chemistry is important. Yes, we'll get to that later. But the pizza's very good. Yeah, in Italy the pizza is something else. Probably partly their water. I think some particular pizzerias in New York, they actually import water, I think, and they import flour from Italy to try to emulate the taste. But anywho, so yeah. Then I was, like very sad, and then I didn't want to leave, and so, but then I finally did. Guys, I was really this close to canceling. Can you believe it? My trip to Catania. And so many people, like, oh, it's weird. Okay, I don't know why Spirit wants to send me up looking a bit like a hoochie now, but okay, when I was in high school, like, this dude was an asshole. I'm just gonna say it. Okay, I'm gonna rip on him. No, he was a jerk. He was a jerk. I'll say it French, like, he was a jerk. Okay, with a J and a, yeah. But anyways, he was also Italian. I knew him way before. He was actually a nice guy back then. Then he changed schools. He went to this Catholic school. And then he started to become weird. I don't know what happened. But yeah, he was a total weirdo player dude. And realized it later over time. Now, I'd love to share more details on this because it also goes deep. But yeah, maybe another time. So, okay, basically though, his family, it's too weird. It's too weird, these things. His family, okay, they were from more North Italy. He went to, well, I don't know if I can say it quite that much. Fuck it. There are so many people that go to university every year. We don't know what year. It's all good. He went to Syracuse University. Siracusa. That's in Sicily. His mom was telling me, you don't, because I would still keep in touch with her because she really liked me. I mean, we could just keep in touch. And I was telling her, you would never know, like, you'll never think, like, I'm going to Italy. Because I think when I knew her, this was back in high school. Yeah, right before he went to college and I went to college. She was like, oh my God, like, you should go to Italy. You should study Italian when you go to college. And she was really rooting for me for that. And I was like, yeah, I remember that time we were sitting at the dinner table and she was trying to sell me on Italian over French because I was signing up for my first classes. Anyway, so then this crooked, y'all, man, lost his rocker, y'all. I'm just going on. Okay. So So then I was like, yeah, I don't know. And I actually chose French, right, first. Then when I switched, I was like, hey, you'll never believe it. I'm going to actually go to Italy. And she was trying to off-sell me on Sicily. She was like, oh, you know, racist shit. Oh, it's dirty there. Just reiterating all these racist ass shit. You know, oh, you should go more to Milan. Milan is beautiful. Anyways, we'll get to that. We'll get to that right there in a minute, but I'll just say it. Okay, yeah, looking back, she definitely was racist. I was like, but I started getting scared. What do you mean it's, like, dangerous and it's dirty? What do you mean? It's like, so that coupled with, like, not wanting to leave my so-called boo at the time, I almost canceled my program. I didn't, though. Chill, everybody. Safe and sound. I was on my way, and I am so fucking happy because that was one of the highlights of my life. When I was on that bus, I was totally asleep. It was like 10 hours or something, 16 hours to, not quite 16, that would be from Siena, I think, or even Milan. But yeah, it was like maybe 6 or 8 hours. I was just asleep. I was asleep on the bus. Didn't know where in Buttcrack, Italy we were. All of a sudden I wake up and I look out the window. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? I have this feeling like I love wherever I am right now. I just don't know what this is. I love this place. I didn't know it was Sicily. I didn't know we were already in the precinct of Catania specifically. I visited Palermo, but I didn't like Palermo. I got a really creepy vibe there. It was specifically Catania. So anyways, okay, return specifically Catania city. I look on the map. We're arrived. I happened to wake up exactly when we arrived, and I actually was looking, yeah, like, I'm hearing something about Gerard Butler. I'm not sure what that's about. Okay, but I was looking on the map because I wanted to X this spot, like, because I wanted to come back to it in case it wasn't Catania, and then I see, oh, it's Catania, so that was really cool. Then, guys, long story short, like, this city, like, wow, I absolutely loved it. Everything, the people, you know, the best food, the kindest people, and yeah, I was so sad. I wanted to do all my semesters there, but they only had this summer program. So there's another story I want to share with Catania. But yeah, first I want to mention that I had, though, to still do my first semester in Milan, and I was thinking, okay, well, it was so sad when we were leaving. We were leaving in, like, the summer to go to our first semester cities. Let's go down. So I went back to, now I'm actually thinking, okay, whatever, I'll show that in a second, but yeah, basically, like, I had to go to Milan, and I was like, well, maybe, yeah, anyways, I wanted to do the whole fashion thing, so I might as well go to Milan. I hated Milan. Milan was just the most depressive energy experience. It was I broke my finger in the subway. Remember that? I was crying in the street, and I'm not trying to toot my horn. I went to the equivalent of it's the equivalent of the Harvard of Italy. Okay, it was the very, very prestigious school. I was taking classes in Italian there, fluent Italian. Like, I worked very hard, but yeah. And I was speaking fluent Italian, but they thought that I was some kind of gypsy or something on the street, and they completely blew me the fuck off. They saw I was crying with a broken finger. Very different energy in Milan. And the food sucked, by the way. So I don't know what they're all saying about this. Oh, you know. Yeah, Milan is the real Italy. No, it's not. Return. Anyways. Grandpa needs his storyteller workout. Okay, now, yeah, that gets me heated, that story. But it's okay. I mean, it's part of, yeah, there's all kinds of weird karma, though, in Milan. I feel like really weird history stuff. And there is a lot of history there, actually. If you really read up on it. And contrary to belief, there are a lot of Jewish Italians, and they're in hiding because they fear for their life. Anyways, there's a whole history to that, but yeah. Anyways, so now what else? So then, the minute I wanted to leave. My teachers were so racist. Everyone was so racist, and they're even racist towards Sicilians. Like, even the fact that they could tell maybe that I had history, or I learned more of my Italian in Sicily. Okay, they kind of like judged me. It was really weird, but also from the American standpoint. Like, oh, these Americans, you know, yeah, like, judging everybody. It's like, what if you're gonna be racist and you're gonna be discriminatory, why are you in a study abroad program teaching students? This is not a good representation of your culture. Yeah, okay, you should be open-minded and progressive if you are trying to create liaison between different countries and students, and, you know, I mean, it was really, even the same thing though. I remember this. Oh my god, guys, I don't know, this is just a free-for-all. This is a free-for-all. Good storyteller. It seems I gotta get this out. So, Moon and Sag. Hitting up on the Sun and Mars. Alright, so then I was like dying to get out of... I was begging with my program and my homeschool. Can I please go back to Sicily? I would love to just continue doing my stuff in Sicily. The classes were so much more interesting as well. I took so many classes on the history of the mafia there and everything, and that was very, very enlightening. And but anyways, then they're like, no, you're already too far into the semester, and they don't have a semester program, and let's go through to return it. And there's no semester program. It says blah, 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 blah. So then return it. So then I'm like, okay, then at least book me for the next semester, because I was booked for a full year in Milan. At least book me for another place, anywhere but Milan. And again, it was interesting because I was like, I want to do fashion. Not with people like that. If that's called the fashion industry, I'm good. I'm out. Bye. Return it to sender. I know not every Milanese is the same, but anyway, so then I no, my experiences were enough to tell me. And then I moved to Siena for second semester. They got their own prejudices, guys. Yeah, they have their own prejudices. I don't know why I feel it's every year at least once we go through this story. But on average, how many times have you guys heard these stories? I'm curious. But yeah, so then I'm in Siena my second semester. It's a different vibe. It's like more central Italy. I didn't want to go to like a very touristy Florence or something, like, you know. I wanted to go somewhere a little more. So Siena was like a nice sort of in between, I suppose. So then it was a medieval town, but even like there was this weird in almost every one of these programs. Except for Sicily, there was this strange, like, I felt like everybody in the program was like out to get me or some shit. I'm talking the teachers. Like, they wanted you to like not do well in these like, it's a racism. Yeah. Come to think of it, I always kind of felt that anyways, like in the education system, save like, it's either I love my teachers and they were amazing, or they were like, I just kind of picked up on this weird, haggardly, sort of resistant energy to my elevation. So it's like either this or that kind of thing, you know? And this was no exception. Like, I remember these teachers in this program, there was this history, okay, that they had, which, come to think of it, sounds kind of controversial, but it was like the so-called, they were so-called, like, they inherited this property that was historical, and so this lady was walking around this place, like, she owned this place. It was just very weird, and I started to, personally, I don't do well with that. I started to kind of rebel, and I was not really as passionate, well, I'll say it like this, as I was more in my classes in Sicily, where the teachers were genuine. They were down to earth. They really were like wanting the students to learn. It's like this was just a more flex move. Like this was her family, and then she wanted to start this school, like offshoot of the school, but then she was it was some drama now that I think of it, and everyone was actually picking up on it. But anyways, I think they actually closed the whole thing down. Yeah, it's not open anymore, that program. But I remember just being so turned off. And so my experiences were better than in Milan, but similar. I did face still a lot of this, like, I remember I lived in this little apartment, 15 floors up, no elevator. I had, obviously, my luggage, and I had to carry this thing up the stairs. I was all alone. This guy opens the door, like, on one of the little levels. He opens it, looks at me, looks up and down at me like I'm some sort of degenerate, return it in the sacral, okay? Some kind of undesirable, and then he just closed the door right on my face. So rude. Like, you see I have this, like, heavy luggage, you didn't even, like, extend a hand. I can't, whatever. He knew that we were, tourists or whatever, or not tourists, but American, so-called, because that place probably, they have a lot of these students from this program, and so he kind of assumed that I'm one of these American tourists or whatever, which they can be rude and outlandish, but still, I mean, you don't judge like that. But anyways, so it's a human thing, return it. But I did, like, love in general this experience, the cities. You learn a lot, because I learned a lot, and you learn a lot about this world. I came to appreciate America a lot more, though. I'll say it like that. You really come to appreciate, in many ways, the open-mindedness of America. And I started to really miss the U.S. Even though, I love the language, I was absolutely fluent, I would speak it all the time. It was a great time, but it's about, like, these psychology. With places that have such a strong culture, it can sometimes become quite, like, a bit claustrophobic. Like, we're just this, and that's all we are, At least as a Sagittarius moon, like, hey, it's not all about Italy. I also love Japan, and what about these other countries and stuff. Wow, 11/11. Yeah, and the thing is, see, I understand, okay, like, I mean, in general, if it doesn't matter if it's a tourist or what, if someone's being rude to you, okay, we're not talking about that here. Like, I was so courteous in every one of these places. I'm not, like, getting drunk. I wasn't doing what these, getting drunk, being rude, running in the street. I'm not doing these things. I was literally, many people couldn't even tell that I was American, which is why I think, especially in Sicily. In Milan, they thought I was Sicilian. In Siena, they thought I was Sicilian. In Sicily, they thought I was Sicilian, yeah. So, I mean, and I would always speak Italian, and it was rude to the point where in Milan, they see that we're in a program, whatever, and I would try to speak Italian with them as also to be courteous. Like, they would respond in English, like, just to get the transaction over with. Just kind of saying, no, we're too good for you to try and immerse in our culture. Really, really, very telling. Anywho, kind of sorry, but similar to France. Yeah, well, makes sense because they're kind of close and they're kind of competing, if you know what I mean. But Sicily's its own breed, its own culture. Sicily, entirely, it's almost like truly like its own. They have had so many conquests over the years. Then the Normans, the Italians, the French, the English, the Arab. They have they're not all hung up on this is who I am and you're not allowed in where I come, my place, and I don't know, whatever. It's like, I mean, in Siena, it was even streets away that they had. It's a serious thing. We learned about it in our school even. And there were times where it was very dangerous. You couldn't go out. It's the equivalent of, like, gang culture. you can't come on my street, this is my street, you know? It's kind of turning into a bit of this, you know, this, what is it? Like, it's like a barbaric, like, animal kingdom kind of, mentality, yeah. But in Sicily, they so very accepting of everybody, nearly, you know, they don't judge you. And they were so elated to see that, you know, I was trying to speak their language. It's different. Every place is different. They have their different things. Obviously, Milan has things that Sicily doesn't have. Many different factors. The weather's very different, you know. But yeah, because it does contribute. We also learned about that, how the weather in Milan, you know, contributes to the culture a bit. But it's very cold. It gets very cold there, and so quite literally, like, you know, it's just different in some ways. But Milan, well, in Sicily, yeah, there's more like. I mean, there are things also that piss me off about Sicily. I'll be honest. Like, as we say it, every place has their things, I guess. But, like, everywhere is closed at lunchtime. Maybe we feel like we're traveling. We're making the most of the sun and Mars and Sagittarius with these stories. I feel like I'm kind of traveling right now, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm in the song. I'm an Englishman in New York. But yeah, everywhere was closed in Sicily. I remember I was literally looking for a place. I was so hungry. It was lunchtime. Everywhere was closed because they all close up, close their shops. Business definitely doesn't come first in that sense. In Sicily, they all go home to their families and they cook at home. You see that in a lot of places, but it was very, very, like, you could count on that in Sicily. It was different. You know, you could still find some places open in Bari like that time, or, you know, but anyway, so, and yeah, it was very slow pace, slow moving. Reminds me a lot of the Persian culture. You know, like when you're it's very kind of more poetic, flowery, like when you're greeting people, you know, and you're saying goodbye, you know, there's very much like bye. It's like, you know, it's a very warm culture. So, anyways, yeah, then, when it comes to Sicily, I remember there was this one time I was in the just grocery store, and I was standing in line, and, I think Spirit just wants to busy our minds. Are we enjoying this Astro Trek, guys? How many of you have been to Italy? But yeah, like they were going so slow in the line. The line was growing so long, wrapping around. There was this older man at the checkout counter, and he was making small talk with absolutely every single person that was checking out. And so when it came to my turn, you know, I was checking out and I was speaking Italian, and then he was responding in dialect, Sicilian dialect, and I was like, oh, I don't understand what you're saying. And he like wouldn't believe me. He started laughing. I was like, oh no, I'm American. I don't understand the dialect. I'm just learning the standard Italian. He was like, he really thought I was like pulling his leg or something, and he just kept talking in Sicilian dialect. Anyways, it took like 20 minutes for me to check out. Because yeah, he kept talking, but that was really sweet. And then, yeah, what else? We visited Palermo, got a really heebie-jeebie vibe off of that city. Couldn't wait to get back to Catania. And then what else? I remember the time there was yeah, because I would try to make friends with all the people working in these little shops and stuff. Like, that was part of my love of this place. The country was, you know, really integrating truly, like, with the people who live there and the culture. So I would always, like, I made some friends with the guys at the ice cream store. Probably eating it a bit too often, you know, but every morning we have the granita with the croissant. Yeah. And then one day came and he introduced me to this other dude. Imagine like one of these like Washingtonian congressmen, but like Italian. And he came in. It was I was with one of my other friends. I think he was a Cancer. Yeah, he was a Cancer. I think Cancer sun sign. I think we were even talking about astrology. He was in my program. We were together. I said, hey, let me show you this really cool like ice cream shop. It's really good. So we were in there, and then the guy working there, this other older man who apparently worked for, I don't know, it was something, I think he worked in the government for Sicily. He came in, and so they recommended this spicy chocolate orange chocolate ice cream. I'd never tried. Maybe significant. Maybe this is a significant message, but yeah, I never tried that, and so this is the first time I ever tried that. And then we started talking, and I didn't know like who he was or whatever, but that guy knew him apparently. There's a little TV playing in this little ice cream shop. Hey Mimi, there is this little TV, and it was showing, I don't know the name of it, but it's when everybody in Congress or whatever it's called, you know how they film in the court case or something when they're deciding on these the lobbies, I don't know, whatever it's called. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing at DC. I don't know these words, I just don't know. Okay, but yeah, it's something like that with the lobbyists or something like this, and they're in the court and just return it. So then this thing was playing, and it was like these tall red robes, curtains around these groups, these people at a table, wooden table, and they have a microphone and they're talking, and it said live. So this guy's coming in, he has a suit and tie, he's looking like very sharp, and so we start talking, I'm talking Italian, and he was like kind of impressed. He was like, whoa, like you speak it very well, Italian, blah blah blah. Then I was like, thanks, and I was with my friend, we were both kind of like talking to him, and then he all of a sudden he got a thought. He was like, so you see that screen up there? Because yeah, I was like, oh, what do you do? And we were going back and forth. He was like, so you want to know something interesting? I was like, yeah, sure. He goes, look up at that TV screen. I was like, okay. He's like, that's going on live right now. And I was like, okay. He's like, you want me to show you where it is? And me and this guy from my program, we were like, okay, because it felt like a once in a lifetime opportunity. So, then we get our ice creams and we leave. This is a true story. This is a true story. It's one of those moments in life, I'm telling you. Some places you have experiences like this. Look at your astrocartography. I think with Catania, I may have, anyways, whatever. So the point is that I think Jupiter, maybe Venus, then Venus, or maybe my ascendant. Then he starts walking us around the town, Catania town. And you know, these are these big structures. There's one that has like a big elephant and like big gates. And this is like a historical building. Like we learn about all the time, this historical building. It was in the piazza. Anyways, there were two guards standing outside. This guy was walking, he's like, follow me. He like motions, and then these gates open, and we're like, what? This is on the main street. We're like, holy shit. We start going, okay. We're walking after him through these gates. And then it's like, who are those dudes? Is it called umpires? The umps. I don't know. He has a tall Russian hat. These guards standing outside. He's like waving, they know him, and then we're walking after him. It's like two little study abroad students. This is random little, just kind of like saying whatever he says. We're like waving to these guards. Anyways, our mouths were like, whoa, like hanging wide open. Inside was gorgeous. Like the structure of this building, never seen nothing like it ever. And it was like an inner garden, like a big square, with the open, like, maybe I can get a picture, I don't know. But yeah, it was open in the top ceiling, and the skylight, like the sun is shining through. And, but genuinely beautiful. I mean, it was the government building, I guess. I don't know. I guess it would be the equivalent of possibly like the Capitol or something. Anyways, me and this guy were like, we're two little Scrooges just following this guy. But it felt very important. It felt very marked. And so we were following him, and he's taking us just waddling down the halls. And we get into this elevator and up these stairs, and he's like, right this way. And I swear it's a real story. He's guiding us down these halls, and it's all, it is kind of like it felt like White House-ish. I don't know. It was, there were this carpet lined red velvet all along these corridors and these halls, and it was very official. So we're walking, and it's like, whoa. Then we finally get to this one door, 2 big wooden doors, and he's like, okay, are you guys ready? You remember what you saw on that TV screen? We're like, yeah. He cracks the door open. And these people are there talking on that show thing. It was very, very interesting. And then he was walking us around the town. He was showing us these different places. What a nice guy. He was showing us, he was basically like giving us a tour. He was like a tour guide. This is Italy. He was like acting like a tour guide. He was fully in his like diplomat suit. It was very interesting. So yeah, then he was telling us, you guys need to be careful in the city. You never know, just be careful. He was giving us our salutations, and but we were just sort of like seeing, the city, I guess, from this different angle, and we're just seeing what it's all about, going with the flow. It was very much one of those moments, because we could have been like, nah, like, I don't. Oh, we have to go back to our program. But yeah, we were like, well, let's see. We kept an open mind. It was like me and him were like in Narnia or something. That's the feeling. Anyways. And then on that program, someone said something about Polish. Someone from that program, he was Polish. Anyways. That could be someone's message. And this other guy was a Cancer. Very sensitive type of guy. He was always worried about people on the program. Oh, so we haven't heard from so-and-so. She's crying in the alley. She broke up with this guy she just hooked up with. Okay, anyways. So, y'all need to be... I think Jeepon need to be restrained. We may need to be restrained. I don't know. These stories getting out of control. Controla. Song Drake. So, yeah. But yeah, and then, what was it called? Recently, there was that Slavic festival or something, Polish Slavic music playing outside. You remember that? It was back in August. Felt very significant. Anyways. So, the thing about Sicily is that, the unfortunate thing we'll say is that the mafia is still so embedded, The mafia is so embedded in the culture to this day, and the classes that we took, were just the movies that we would watch. It is a real history there, and it really compromised a lot of what could have transpired of the culture in a more positive way. But and a lot of that extended to New York, and so that's where this link with New York. After Italy, I took an internship in Paris. And I was there for some time, got totally turned off by the fashion industry, interestingly enough, and decided, no, I don't want to pursue that, at least in that way at this point. So I went to New York, and that's when I moved to New York, and then that's when I was with my grandpa, and he was actually in the fashion industry. He was originally from Iran, both in Iran and different places. He has an amazing story. Different places. He was a single dad. He raised his 2 sons all by himself, in conditions that most people could never fathom. And so he used to actually, we had family who, from different angles, interestingly, who would, in Iran I'm talking, right, because I have family, my dad was born in the U.S., but his family is from Iran, and same with my mom. So, he would tailor he was a fashion designer. So he would tailor fashion for like the king and the queen and these types in Iran. And he, because of the political climate and whatever, he had to basically abandon his entire whatever he built for himself. And it was from the ground up, and it was everything that he created. And he had to totally, he went from, he had to abandon it, and he had to leave with his family, his 2 sons, who were very young at the time. At the time he didn't have his wife. Hey, Alex. And so then he, first he went to, I think it was Israel, and then he lived there for some time, and then he was somewhere else, and many times he started and then he started over, and then he settled down in New York, and this was like many years ago. I mean, yeah, back in the day. And so anyways, they ended up having like a bit of an empire, I guess, at a certain point there, when it came to fashion. So when he was, by the time I visited him when I was in New York, yeah, he did still have that presence, but then the economy, things were changing, and so then his family got more into like real estate and stuff. But anyways, but yeah, so what were we saying? Yeah, but basically, such an amazing story, and that he has, and I really think that a movie should be made about him. And at some point, I hope that that something will be made about him. I think they are possibly working on it, actually. So that would be really cool. But yeah, amazing guy. And he was the first person that I sort of, he was like my sort of home. Both of his sons then obviously grew up in New York and established and flourished there, and they're there. So yeah. But anyways, so it's interesting, the origins. But if it, it was for his strength. It was for his strength and his resilience of character. He would sew shoes. I think his sons are possibly, I don't know. But yeah, he would sew shoes and design. He did his own designs, which is funny. Yeah. So anyways, guys, what else? Anything else? I don't know. Spirit wants to talk about it. Yeah, I mean, he's amazing. Yeah. Could also say Bonnie. Very entrepreneurial, enterprising. Yeah. So. But the humbleness, because he didn't have the clout, so-called, that he had, respectively speaking, technically, that he had built in Iran. He didn't have that when he moved to New York. He had to start all over, and in those days, I mean, there was so much crime, because they had their stores in New York. And he would tell me the stories all the time. These people would break in and hold them. I mean, they still do these things, but, a little bit different, I think. Those were some times. But, yeah, he grew again from a very small seed, from a very small start. And it just goes to show, when you have that in you, the circumstances don't prevail. You're the person creating your life, no matter what the circumstance is, because you are you. You're not your circumstances. So that's something I feel is like a part of his legacy, is that he kind of really portrayed that, and he always was very humble, and you could never feel that off of him, as much as, it's not a bragging point, but to make this known. I don't know, maybe some people wanted to hear this. The people that he would have come into contact with and would have known, and his clientele, the people he would have potentially served, you know, he in New York, he was hand in hand best friends with the person who presently owns the most real estate in New York City. He could very easily have an ego, and he never did. So yeah, he's a very beautiful person. Yeah, and I still feel his energy. Obviously, he's living through in many different forms. And I'm sure that you guys know people alike, people similar. You know, it's not about this paradigm. And I think that's really what his story is about, partly, is that he didn't let his own legacy get in the way of why he's leaving it. So, oh my God, that is so funny, Mimi. Because, like, he had all these stories. Mimi says, my grandpa was #1 bodybuilder in Palestine. He has so many of these stories. About bodybuilding and all of this stuff. And I think he was like doing wrestling, and he would always like tell these stories. He would always tell stories too. Now that I think of it, yeah, he would always tell stories. Yeah, it's kind of cute. He was Gemini. He has the same birthday as Isaac, exact same day. I see so much of him and Isaac. It's incredible, honestly. Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah, it's the humbleness, like, you know, he always treated you like, you know, you deserved anything that anybody else would. I mean, why, you know, it's very rare to come across that in this day and age, you know, with this social media hype up and, you know, look what I'm doing, this makes me somebody else that I wasn't before. No, you're always who you've been. Like, you're not changing, you're just impacting the world, and hopefully for the better, hopefully for the positive. So anyways, yeah, but when I was in New York, I was living there for some time, and you know, it was very nice because I had that time with him, and every morning we would have, you know, a ritual, like a little breakfast, and he slowed time down, you know, Interesting. Sometimes, you know, in some ways, a grandfather figure can be more of a father figure, you know. He was very wise. I remember sometimes he would get worried if I was coming home late. Like, I remember this one time he was just sitting in the living room, in the chair. I didn't know he was waiting for me. It was 9 o'clock because I was working 2 of these free internships at the same time. I don't know why we're going on and on, but yeah, it's all good. Isaac's birthday is May 22nd, from what I know. May 22nd. His was May 22nd. Taurus to the Gemini cusp. Let's return it clear throughout. Yeah. So many overlaps, but it's something in Isaac's eyes as well. Like, by the way, Isaac, that was his name. Like, when I got him, that was his name. I didn't name him that, like, you know, strategically, and like thinking he came with that name, and that's I don't know what it was exactly. Technically, I am Jewish, but I'll repeat again, I'm not religious. Like, I wasn't brought up. Early years, I actually really was like resistant to religious teachings, and I was very turned off by it. Like, even Hebrew school, like, I was very, very turned off, and I was turning into a rebel again. Yeah, I didn't want to be in that program. So anyways, just to make that clear, but not saying that there isn't something to religion, right? But I felt a very strong connection, though, to say it for this, when I saw Isaac's name, and that was partly why I was like really, really drawn to him for some reason. So it's interesting. But anyways, yeah, he has May 22nd is his birthday, and maybe one time I will show Isaac's baby picture, the very first. Let's return center. His first picture, when he was like 2 to 3 weeks old. His eyes were just, yeah, very interesting. So, but anyways, very significant. And Isaac has, it's also his markings. I didn't see it until I actually got him. He comes from Kansas, by the way. See, there's so many very interesting syncs. Isaac and Alex both are brothers. They both from Kansas. Return to clear throat chakra. Isaac has an insignia of the twin flame coach doll, who I was hugging. Mimi, I know I'm sure you remember that one reading. I was wearing the white dress. I was sitting in the bed. I was doing an astro chat. This was one of the very first times where I started doing astro chats in the bed. Remember the Rilakma doll? Isaac has almost like a tattoo of that on his fur. I saw it when he arrived, and it's weird because that astro chat, remember, I said it was a week before I even saw his picture. The twin flame coach was crawling up my arm, and I felt like someone was on my arm, and it felt like a baby, and I'm like, there's no way I'm having a baby. What? I mean, I don't even have a boyfriend. What? No. So, but I felt him right here, and that's kind of going back to the beginning of this astro chat about life and so-called death and reincarnation, all of this. Like, the soul has already arrived, and I really feel like, you know, Isaac and Alex and Jade were living through those twin flame coaches. I feel like the unicorn one, you know, remember the unicorn one had taller legs? That's, I think, Jade. And I remember every time I would get because these were all gifted to me from my sister. Like, every so often she would get me one of these dolls, and I'm like, what's this one? Because they're usually the character, the Japanese Rilakama. I don't know what the unicorn one was. It's funny because Jade has I feel like Jade comes from a very interesting constellation, like a very, very, Jade has a very particular energy. He's extremely, extremely smart, extremely intelligent, but he's very, in some ways, different. I mean, obviously, he's vibrationally, I feel, very different from Isaac and Alex, and I feel like my connection to Isaac and Alex are quite different from my relationship, especially karmically, to Jade. And my relationship to Isaac is very different from my relationship to Alex, karmically. And I talk about this all the time. I mean, it was not easy, y'all, okay? Sometimes, I'll be very honest, it's very hard to look back on their puppy pictures with Alex because it just takes me back to those days. It was like very, it was, you know, I mean, there's just so much of this. There was dense energy, you know. I really feel that. Deep waters. You know, because when Isaac was born, like, right about that day, he had a stroke, and that was the first time his so-called health started to decline. And I said it, you know, I believe that when we are so-called passing, we give blessings. You can't destroy energy. He wanted to sort of, you know, it's a metaphor of a will. Like, I want to will my energy to be here in this way. You know, and my grandfather knew, like, he kept up with everything, you know, with my whereabouts in DC, and at the time I was dealing with so many of these awkward, horrifying stalkers who were sending me these horrifying emails, for which reason I have many detectives in different states. They were sending me, God forbid, these DMs of, you know, I don't even want to say it, you know, but think of insignias in history that, you know, should we see, we would say something, you know. So anyways, and he was very worried. And so in a way, you know, I do feel like he wanted, it's a symbol, you know, it's something symbolic. But anyways, I do feel that, you know, and that was the time that I met Isaac. It was very destiny. I, for a long time, was looking at dash hounds, but like online and pictures and stuff, and I almost adopted one a year prior. I was really sad when it didn't work out. I was applying to absolutely every single adoption page almost, you know, like and nothing fell through. This was a year, and I was really sad. I started to feel like, why am I not able to, like, even adopt like an animal? This was around COVID time, I think, a little before COVID time. And then, yeah, and this was perfect. I mean, Isaac is absolutely made for me. Like, I feel Isaac is a part of me. I feel like I'm a part of Isaac. And, yeah, so, and he was the first, he's the first booby baby. So, I found his picture on the full moon in Cancer. I remember I talked to my parents. I went on that bike ride. Someone had commented, I just see, like, you pushing a stroller, like a baby carriage, in the basket or something. They said something. It was a huge sync for me. Later that day, I was walking, and then Spirit told me slow down, like down the street, walk slowly. So I did. Took a different alternate path that I normally don't, to get to a place that I always, every day I'm at, more or less, is like a coffee shop. And then, I see this dog standing on the corner. 11:44 right there. I see this dog. It's like very emotional. He was just standing right there on the corner with their owner. Never seen this dog. And I mean, this was in Georgetown, DC. Like, I'm there all the time. Never seen this dog. You see like repeat people, dogs. It's a relatively small town. Never seen this dog. I never touch people's dogs, like, especially after COVID, you know, it's just out of respect, like, but as well, as an energy thing. But something told me, just see if you could pet this dog. It was a dachshund. I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask her. She was actually really kind, and she said, yeah, sure, you could pet him. He was really friendly. And this dog was looking up into my eyes. It was like, time stood, I said, that's it, I'm gonna go look online. I look online, the first website popping up is Isaac. I applied for him, got him immediately. And, yeah. So when it's meant to be, like, it's meant to be. And so, anyways. I think we officially ate y'all's earlobes off. Yeah. And this came after. Again, I don't know. Listen, y'all, I'm not hoochie and all, but whatever it is. But another sync is right before that, I went through the most challenging bout of karma with another person who I had known. Arab guy. One of the most challenging cord cuttings. And he went to Syracuse. So, something going on with that. Interesting. I think it might be like, maybe, I don't know. It's a lot of different countries. And then the time that I had the dream where, about Egypt and the Spain conquests. And I just know it. Like, if I were to visit Sevilla, Spain, I would not leave. Like, I have been dying to visit Sevilla, Spain. I feel like there's some kind of history there. Anyways. And then the Ireland sync's coming up. Anyways, what are some places for you guys? Like, are there places where you're like, oh, I know I have a past life there. It's really significant. Thanks, Steffi. That's really kind. Aw. I've been to Spain, but I never been to Sevilla. And that's it's like similar to Salem. Like, I also wanted to visit Sevilla when I went to, we were on a family trip to Portugal, and then we went through Lisbon. And by the way, I had a really heebie-jeebie creepy vibe in Lisbon. For however reason, we had a lot of, even my sister had a very, very haunting experience there. Return in the crown, throat chakra. Yeah, so, and then I was like really wanting to visit Sevilla, but then it didn't happen. Anyways, it was in the heat of the summer. But London, wow, never been to London. Like, how so, Kim Possible? Like, what do you feel like your story is there, for instance? Interesting. Yeah. A lot of syncs for me with Ireland. That time I was doing grid work in Georgetown. By the way, Georgetown is another... I mean, the syncs here, like, the way I even ended up in DC. I mean, it's just all of this is very, very interesting. I'm hearing Ollie Ollie Oxenfree. That keeps coming through. What the heck does that mean? I think Alicia said it means something like time is now or something. I don't know. Or here we go or something. When I was doing grid work, and there are so many, you know, these energies here in DC are all really heavy, and I was doing grid work one time here, and then something about that day I found this Ireland hoodie in this store that I was doing grid work in. It felt super significant, and that was right as I was channeling everything about Ireland and everything that day. I don't know if you guys remember it. Return it. I don't know if you guys recall that particular, remember that water? We were walking by the water. Oh, I've had a dream as well about Ireland, a past life in Ireland. With my catalyst twin. Yeah, we were very antagonistic, and we were in a literary program, and he was competing with me and I with him, and it was, I am hearing something religious here, but anyways, we were walking through, and then it was kind of like arch nemesis rival in the literary class, and it was like, great, there he is, and then he was like, great, there she is, and then yeah, so it was in Ireland, that one, and I remember walking through these little, it felt like a school campus or something. And we kept crossing, yeah, okay, whatever, so also remember that time where I was at the cafe, and then that guy with the cross, I'm hearing the name Melissa here. Does everybody here have prominent Sagittarius? I would be so curious. Interesting. I never been, Jem. At least in this lifetime, you know. Oh, now I know. Okay, because yeah, I'm seeing that sync, because my spirit guides didn't want me. Yeah, there's a whole thing. And yeah, we'll get into more like maybe another time. Spirit didn't want me visiting. Okay, but anyways, yeah, so oh, wow. Pisces and Sagittarius. Do we all have really significant Pisces and Sagittarius here? What's everyone's top 3? Sun in Pisces, Moon in Sagittarius, Rising Scorpio. But that's actually in Western. You guys think I'm more Aquarius or more Pisces? In Vedic, I'm Aquarius sun sign. I think my downloads tend to also come through Aquarius's reads quite often, I noticed. Watching my sun sign is not so fine-tuned. I'm not trying to like talk at you guys, by the way. I'm just, you know, these things are coming through. Channeling maybe it's helpful for somebody, but yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of Jupiter, Pisces and Sag. I would say I'm rather Jupiterian. But then I have a lot of Saturn through the... I have a Capricorn stellium with my North Node. I'm here in Amelia. I need some water. The way Jade looks at me is hilarious. Hi, Jade. Hi, Boober. Hi, Boober. Guys, I don't know what that accent is. Does anybody know? Boober. Is that like... I don't know what that is. I started to develop this new language ever since I got the dogs. I'm talking in some language, y'all. What we saying, dolls? I'm in love with you. All these little things. Oh, boo boo. Boober. Yeah, what does it mean? Language, I mean, I don't know. Guys, then I had this dream one time where I was teaching people how to swim in the back of a Dubai hotel. I was teaching them how to surf. It was so-called random. This was right when I started the channel. Never been to Dubai. Return it in the crown. Babel. No bully. Isaac doesn't give a hot damn. Isaac has that really strong character about him. Like, I say it all the time whenever we're in the store and he sees an entity. If anybody's... Yeah. So... I have to be honest, unlike Alex, he's a little more like... He's a little more like... Well, he's a Capricorn moon, you know? So he's kind of like... He kind of wants to know, like, well, if they got some treats, maybe I'll, like, smile and shit. I'm sorry, Alex. Okay, but we've been working on that, you know? That was one of the things, because when he first arrived, he was kind of just ignoring a bit like me and Isaac, and he was just going and eating all the treats and drinking all the drinks and laying in all the beds, and this is the life. And it's like, we had to kind of, like, yeah, he was kind of being a little bit he was disregarding a bit, so we had to get the priorities straight. Like, he is a Scorpio sun sign, 3-4 planets, and he has moon in Capricorn, which rules the assets of others. And even to this day, I mean, he does get kind of sensitive. Like, if he sees people are, you know, playing with toys, he likes to go and kind of take them away, and he likes to go and hold them in a little reserve space. Like, he's like the toy manager. So he needs to manage the toys. Like, y'all having too much fun with those, so I'm gonna just, yeah, I gotta... He gets a little jealous, I think, maybe, is what it is as well. But it's like a resource thing, I think. He loves his resources, kind of thing. He loves his food. He loves his, you know, he knows comfort. He, you know, I would get Isaac these really cozy beds. He just, whatever, you know. He's a Gemini. He want to be with you. No, why do I want to lay in this bed for? No, I'm good. I lay in your bed anyways. Why do I... Alex, hold up. Can I put the door around this bed here? I don't want... Yeah, this is my bed now. Yeah, everyone, I want a key to this place. Yeah, can I... He would construct a door, the doggy bed around the dog. He wants to key into his house every day, leave and come out. I swear. He's funny. I feel like he'd be a good real estate, doggy real estate manager. I know. I feel it. I feel like Alex, you know, we say it again and again, like, he has this side to him. He kind of has that bad boy side to him, like a badass. I had to work on him with that. Okay, because, yeah, I had to work on, yeah, because he's kind of like, he doesn't give a damn. If you know what and physically, I mean, he is so strong. He's not a mini dash hound. I thought he was advertised as a mini, but he's not. Like, he was supposed to be 5 to 6 pounds. I don't see nothing 5 to 6. In human terms, he's more like 6'5". Like, he's beefy. He's a beefy nugget. He's a bodyguard. He is, like, he doesn't mess around. He scared the shit out of my dad when he came here. I told you guys the story. He jumped up on the table. He jumped up on the whoa, I don't want it. And my dad has had dogs year after year. I don't want to mess with Alex. Alex is another type of yeah. But anyway, so he was just like, he knows how. But the thing about Alex, he can settle into the moment. He's very grounding. He can settle into the energies. I feel like he has some past lives where, you know, he was very popular with the ladies, all right? If you know what I mean. One night, yeah, he was channeling something about... Alex has a connection, something about... also me, which is very interesting because I don't know what, but yeah, Elvis. Something about Elvis. Anyways. So... yeah, but it's like he's got this, he's Scorpio, 4 planets. I feel like if, in like the 3D terms, like he may get into some naughty stuff, guys. Yeah, Alex, we said it before. You okay, Jade? He kind of gives me a little mafia vibe. Anyways. Oh, I didn't catch it. Tupelo. Right. Wow. Wow, that's very interesting. You know, who knows it? Like, be it a guy. Yeah, but yeah, no, but yeah. Like, there was one night, you guys, where Alex was like, giving me all these downloads about Elvis. It's like he was hoping that I would, like, understand something here, but it's kind of interesting because, like, Alex has that very thick... The thing about Alex that is very pronounced is his thick... He's got, like, a really thick fur. Dark, you know, with this chest, with his... tuxedo. Yeah, he does need a biker jacket. So the thing is, I want to actually, I think I told you guys, I want to design like, yeah, a whole fashion line for them where it's channeled, and they're going to channel me the designs because they already started telling me what they want. Like, Isaac, Alex, I want to give them their own space to be creative and like their character, you know, have their character. Because I feel like, yeah, they would be down. They would be into that. And it may be on the timeline, so. Yeah, Tupelo. Interesting. Also, Chicago. That's another timeline. Wow. Chicago, remember? It's like there was a period where I was... absolutely everybody that I was like coming across was from Chicago, and I was like, I'm moving to Chicago, that's it. Like, I knew it. I was really researching apartments, and then something, yeah, and then that timeline came back. Yeah, so recently, but yeah, that's another like facet, guys. Like, I am really, as much as I am Like, even with all this, like, oh, you know, I realize the fashion industry is kind of shallow, but I am still, like, a creative person, and I have always, even when I was young, I was always into fashion and buying and selling and these types of things, but also creative. And I knew at a certain point that I wanted to design one day, you know. From a young age, I was already, the opportunities arose and I got involved. And, shoot, I was making, like, almost more than I am now, like, when I was 13 years old. And it was getting boring, you know? I was like, okay, I started to get turned off. Like, I don't want to just make money. I mean, what? Like, I don't want to just... Let's go in the heart chakra, return to center of the heart chakra. I don't want to just return it again in the heart chakra. I don't want to just be doing business. Like, I want to get into the creative aspect of it. So yeah, that's something that I always knew. Like, I wanted to actually, like, for instance, design t-shirts. Maybe, you know, one day we'll do that. And maybe with Isaac, Alex, and Jade as inspirations. Well, so, like, I had this moment where during COVID, I was gonna start doing jewelry. And then I very quickly realized I am not a jeweler because, listen, I got my tools. The thing about creative stuff is that I could get obsessive about the details. And I remember sitting there, Isaac just staring at me listening to the story. It's boring, girl. You got, yeah. That's why, another story. No, this is important, Isaac. Like, don't tell me you're gonna try to end this video call. Yeah. Isaac is known to do that, to turn off the camera. Yeah, so I was doing jewelry, and I was sitting at my desk for what felt like 4 hours threading this little twine, and it was like I was hunched over. It was so, oh my goodness. I just threw all the beads in the air. I said, I can't do this. Even though I love it. Like, I feel, that's another thing. Like, I also really wanted to get into jewelry. I love jewelry. I wanted to get into jewelry. When I was in New York, I met this dude who was a jeweler for Bergdorf, and the guy, I knew him from LA. I don't know, it was just like a weird roundabout. I happened to meet him, and I was really inspired, and but then, yeah, it didn't happen. So, because I feel like, I don't know, I think maybe I need to design within context. Like, it needs to be purposeful. You know, I can't just design something random, which is, I guess, hence, because I was going to start a fashion app, and that was when I didn't do it, because I felt that it wasn't clearly, you know, rooted enough in something that was real to me, because I had my spiritual awakening right after I had received potential investment to pursue the app, like in a real, like, gonna get real, like, you know, to really push it out there. And I decided to drop the project altogether, because it wasn't feeling real to me. So, but it doesn't negate the fact that I feel creatively inclined towards fashion, and I would love to create one day and design, but, you know, the time has to be so-called right. Because fashion I feel it's an expression of you, you know, and it's a way to communicate. Yeah, so, but that's like one of my next big projects. I want to really get into, like, I want to have a creative art studio space, and like a craft space, and just be able to, like, play again, you know. That's something that is on my radar with my timeline, I guess we'll say. But yeah, merging those, yeah. Hi, Bobo. Taurus can be stubborn, huh? You should, Andre. You know, it could start somewhere small. Like, just start. You know, for me, it's like, I think sometimes, like, I just held myself back because it's like I feel like I have to be make out with me now. Oh my god, I should. Whoa. Kind of like a perfectionist. Like, I feel kind of like, oh my god, I'm gonna do this and it has to be perfect and I gotta have all of this ready and all of that. Like, so many times then, you know, I just held off on it. But, you know, the best things come from a very, like, small starting point, I think. Like this channel. In no way did I plan any of this. And it's the most real to me, so right now, yeah. That's the first step. Yeah, I've also found that, Isaac, I found that when you are having, like, visions, you know, like, when the ideas start to flood in, that's usually a sign that it could be your next step. Like, I remember before I started the channel, I had actually made, like, a few videos. This was, like, way years before my spiritual awakening. Actually, come to think of it, even when I was quite young, when I was, like, way younger, you guys remember the show The Hills? I made a version of that with my sister as kind of, like, I had a YouTube channel. It was not really big, but we were just posting these videos. We were making little videos, and then, so, I mean, it may not have fully manifested at that point, but hey, you know, I think that there's always something to that. There's an echo. There's an echo. There's you know, there's a wave. You know, it recedes and then it'll come back, and maybe this time bigger, you know. So the wave will come for the surf. You know, sometimes we get disenchanted because it's like, oh, you know, this is not working out right now. But it's not random, I think. Yeah, if you have visions, and especially like when you're younger, you know, look to what it is that you had visions of, passion for. I'm seeing sleigh bells. Another thing, yeah, like, when I was in Siena, I remember I started to get really into, oh, yeah, I had a little book. And I was designing some fashion pieces. Right. Yeah. And I was gonna sew it. Oh my god, I remember this. So because I was like, well, I'm in Italy, they have the best. I went to these little stores with the yarn and the alpaca yarn, and I even went and bought some stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna become like a sewer. Then I'm gonna sit there, and I made this like scarf. It's hard. Yeah, it's really, really hard, but it's fun. Like, yeah. So, but I guess it's when the time is right. You know, if it doesn't happen at that moment, like, there's a reason, you know, why it's not, and maybe it's just not the right time. But yeah, I think that if you have visions, that's definitely like a step. Hi, Jane. For me, sometimes, yeah. Hi, boobers. What y'all talking about? What are you talking about, doll? No, I asked you first. What are you talking about? Aw. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. What are you doing now, Andre? Or what do you consider, you know, is it like I'm in a totally different field right now? It's never too late, you know, to switch. We hear of those people doing law, biology. They even get a degree in, you know, they go through the whole residency, and then they end up wanting to do literary writing, you know. So it's interesting. right? Yeah, that's the thing. It's like a very Pisces thing. It's like we don't want to limit ourselves. Like, that's why college was really hard for me, because I didn't ever want to say, you know, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, you know. It really narrows you psychologically. So, because we're not meant to be like this type or that type of person, and like it can change, you know. And that's the thing. I can say this for myself as well, even with what I'm doing. Like, anything you create can stifle your creativity. Because you created it doesn't mean that, you know, it's you. Whoa, for a second, okay, like literally I was touching my hair, and then I felt this zipper here, and it felt like it reminded me of the sticker that was in my hair. 8.5. Wow. So that's the thing. I that might be a message, maybe also for you, Andre. Something about shoes, possibly. Okay, yeah, because it's funny, because my grandpa, he made leather shoes, and that's what for the longest time I wanted to make my own leather shoes. And I wanted, because I'm obsessed with like ballet shoes and Greek sandals, I wanted to make shoes, and I want to make them for the babies. So yeah, that's maybe a message. And that would make sense, because that Astro chat was the one before I heard of his news of his passing. And he was a shoemaker. Wow. I have to work on not getting disenchanted, though, you know, because yeah. I mean, I never tried to make shoes. But, it can maybe be hard, you know. You get disenchanted, like the little details, like, you know, I remember when I was doing the jewelry or the scarf, like sewing it, knitting it, I was getting all of the threads mixed up. It was starting to get, and then, yeah, like, I'm very extreme. Then I just kind of said, okay, maybe I'm not going to do this for now, you know, but it just wasn't the right time, I guess. Similar reason why when I was in college, I was doing studio art. I was taking studio art classes. I started to become like really obsessively detailed with my painting canvases, to the point where I was going to the studio at 2 to 4 a.m., hiking into the studio to perfect that eggplant I drew earlier. It's just, it became too much pressure. It was giving me anxiety. So it's a fine balance. Like, I guess it's just like maybe not the right time, or it's just not the right thing. And then that's when I decided, like, I'm not going to become a studio art major. It's just too much pressure. Like, you know, maybe I will understand what that sync is for me later. But yeah, maybe for some of you that resonates. Does it? Any of you similar? Sometimes I just avoid getting creative like that, because then I get very into it. And it's like, I guess it's similar to like relationships, like holding yourself back from being vulnerable in relationships because you don't want to get hurt. You know, something like that. Maybe it's kind of like this. Yeah, it's the pressure. Yeah. I guess when you go into it thinking this is going to be something, then it, you know. Right. Yeah, it's like the space of your soul speaking is what you're creating. So maybe we're afraid of being judged. Maybe that's what was running through my mind. I do feel a lot of pressure because I want to like make it perfect, you know? Like, I don't want to do it unless it's going to be like good type of thing, which is maybe toxic. Yeah, I shouldn't think like that when it comes to creativity. Exactly, all or nothing. That's why I put it off for so long, like the designing t-shirt stuff as well, because I don't want to just do something half-assed. Like, I don't want to just kind of do like random t-shirts. Like, I'm not a middle way person at all. It's either I'm gonna really do it or I'm not gonna do it at all. So I just didn't do it at all. But like what Andre's saying, I've had visions like along the way, you know. You have these visions like all of a sudden. Like, I had really clear vision, and then you're like, that's it, like, I'm gonna do that, and like maybe you're tapping into something that, yeah, you're gonna do. You never know when something will circle back. The way I'm talking now about fashion, and this was something years ago, you never know, like, how it may be related. Yeah, I guess it's like I'm trying to find, like when I would be creative, like, I'd be trying to find a portal to make it, like, make sense in that moment, but maybe it just wasn't meant to be in that moment. Maybe it's just meant to be something more carefree, like, this is just what I'm doing right now. It doesn't have to be anything really big, you know? But I was, because I went out with the mindset of, like, I'm gonna make this scarf, and it was a very elaborate scarf, and I think I still have my book is at home, my sketchbook is at home. Yeah, every page had its own product item. I drew a crocodile purse, then another one, the scarf. Yeah. I really was, at one point I wanted to become an architect, an interior designer. But then I learned of how so-called not everything you dream of you can create given the engineering requirements. I was really turned off. I was like, well, fuck that. This all or nothing thing again. Yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I'm not doing nothing. It's like, I want to have this door here. Oh, you can't because of this pipe. It's like, fuck that shit. Listen, don't take this for yourself. This is not me telling you, like, you should think the same. I'm just saying, like, this is just me blabbing, like, the old crustibular crab that apparently I'm being right now. I'm just giving myself this moment of repose because I've been feeling very nauseous. So now we're just chilling. So, yeah. Proudly sponsored by, I swear it's not. That's another thing on this channel. Sometimes products pop up, like, as if we're product placing, but I'm not. And that's another thing, like, for the longest, people are like, why don't you make your own products and sell them? I do want to do that. That's another thing. Beauty stuff. See, like, I literally, like, it's very similar to what Andre just said. Like, I have so many passions. Like, I want to do everything. Like, I want to build a house. I want, but it's like, yeah, time and space for everything. So we got to go with the flow. Basically, you never know what Spirit has in, the screenplay that Spirit has in store. Thank you, Sim. Aw, thank you so much. Y'all are definitely a part of it. Like, I always remember you guys. Obviously, we are recalling a memory that has been made long before we make them anew in this life. Oh, perceptively. Whoa. Yeah, we all, Isaac, all have past lives here, probably together. Okay, it's not random if you're drawn to this channel. Many of you probably very old souls. Oi! You're in Brooklyn, right, Sim? Whoa. Oh, believe me, Mimi, you guys too. You guys are really very strong pillars here. 222 right there. I know maybe, I don't get very vulnerable on the channel very often, but, you guys are a huge part of my story. And yeah, I'm really touched by you guys just simply existing here on this plane at this time. I see a white dove. Fort Greene. Oh, interesting. That's a place recently they're working towards changing. I think at a certain point, right? Am I right? Am I thinking of the kind of similar to like Bed-Stuy, I guess many places around the world becoming kind of renovated, like more inhabitable, I guess. So what do you think about Dumbo? Is it too touristy now? I haven't been there in a really, really long time. everywhere's changing. DC is becoming very similar to, you know, real estate note. DC is the next New York. You know, Pisces, Aquarians, usually you're on trend. You could see the curve, the trend ahead of time. I could say that for myself. Yeah, the places and the things that I'm usually drawn to. This is one of those things. And yeah, DC is definitely on the up and up. If you're in real estate, oh my God. But you do have to talk to your financial advisor before you make any major decisions, right? Gotta say that. But yeah, but yeah, I would say I've been telling my family, you guys have to invest in, why are you not investing in, you know, I don't know why, but yeah, it's the market in DC. I just see it right here so clearly. Like, it's turning in very similar. It can never be New York, we'll say, but something is changing in the city. Something is happening. Are you guys like worried about the whole New York is sinking thing, by the way? Tourist Evan. Right? So how do you feel in Brooklyn, like, over time, especially, like, do you feel, like, what's your take on why you're there, for instance? Like, surely it's not random, different parts of the grid, like, were you ever fighting it, or did you always know that, or what were you born there? I mean, I'm a stalker. It's same with Andre. Andre's also from New York. So yeah, if you guys want to share, obviously, you know, don't feel obligated, no pressure. You don't have to, you know, just because I'm saying something, don't feel pressure, awkward that you have to answer any question if you don't feel comfortable. But yeah, I mean, what is your take? Interesting. Phoenix, yeah. I think Phoenix. Never been there. Oh, hey, Chloe. Chloe's also, right? If I do remember, you're also in Manhattan. Fun. Lower East Side's fun. Interesting how all parts of New York have their own, like, character. I feel like I still didn't really get to explore. Like, I barely really parts in Brooklyn. Like, I never been to, what is it called? Really, like, upcoming hipster spot. Is it called Crown Heights? What is it called? It's not in Manhattan. It's seeing a Popeye here. I don't know what that's about. It's off of the bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge, and then you go into the city, I think. It's really up and coming. Something Hill? Is it called Cobble Hill? I don't know. Something. Yeah, they are becoming overpopulated. DC is changing. I mean, the number of tourists, like, when I first came, it was a very different place. Yeah, unfortunately, I had that vision about California. I'm here in Canada, California. Frontline. That's how I feel in DC. And for the longest time, I'm like, what the hell am I doing in DC, really? So many times, until my guys came through right before COVID hit, they were like, don't move, because I had to pocket a window. I was like, should I move? My lease was expiring. They said, wait until April. Lockdown happened. I was like, okay, I guess I am not moving. So yeah, they clearly, these terrains are tough. So much history, obviously, but also the Anacostia River, a lot of ancient, a lot of the tribal Native American presence, and Jade is looking at me like I'm the most boring history professor right now. Oh my god, Jade, y'all be pop quiz doll. Pop quiz. I'm here. I don't know what's with the Popeyes. Okay, but yeah, what else? Clinton Hill, is it? Yeah. It's like supposedly the next Brooklyn. The next, like, Williamsburg. What happened to Williamsburg? I haven't been there for some time. Did they fix their subway system? I remember, it was kind of scary. Like, you could potentially get, like, stuck because of the way the subway is set up. This is totally just a Jupiter Saturnine house. The Astro Chat, apparently. We're just talking about all things travel, and it happens, like I say, every so often. But yeah, the subway, there's one line, Silver Line, right? You could, if it's not working, you'd be stuck in Brooklyn, and then you got an Uber, right? That's the only thing about Brooklyn for me. Like, it's just a little less accessible, a little bit risky as far as that. And, like, when I was in New York, I was living in the Upper East Side, and I was walking home. I would walk the length of Manhattan, like, sometimes 3-4 times a day. I'm a big walker. That's why I don't like LA, because there's no... I mean, you look like you need to get picked up if you're even walking, like, even on the littlest of people staring at you, like honking at you, staring at you. I mean, it's weird. It's like you feel weird walking. And the bus schedule is not at all reliable. So yeah, LA wasn't a really good fit of me at all. But yeah, so what were you saying? Oh yeah, I walk the length of Manhattan like a few times a day. I'm hearing Phoenix. Return it, center, threshold. Yeah. Yeah, Andre, I am hearing something about creative that's coming through for you right here. Interesting. Something about... LA. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, even because let's say if I were to live in Brooklyn, I'm thinking back those days when I was living there. Well, when I was living in New York, and I was thinking maybe I will move to Brooklyn. It would have not been like, because sometimes I walk home like late at night, and then I'm like, I don't want to take an Uber, or I'm just walking. It's like, I want to have that option. Otherwise, if you are in Brooklyn or you need to get back home to Brooklyn, you have to cross the bridge. I don't know. Maybe someone is really thinking about moving. I'm hearing Snail. I'm hearing something about South Carolina. I'm hearing Indiana, the Indies. South Carolinas. The South Carolinas, I hear. So LA compared to DC. Really different. Totally different. Like, obviously the East Coast to the West Coast thing. LA, I started to get really I started to feel very claustrophobic in LA. I don't drive. I don't have my permit. I just walk, or I Uber, or I bike. LA started to get really boring and really redundant and really kind of, there was a lot. I mean, it could be a great place. This is not meant to say, like, it could be great, maybe the right place for somebody else, but for me, I have my Pluto line there. It was getting kind of, I'm ready to move out kind of thing. I was getting really ready to move out. Let's return to Center Clear Threshold. I'm also obviously from LA, so maybe it does impact, but the air quality is horrible. I don't care what people say. Oh, but we got the breeze from the... Sorry, like, first of all, okay, let's look at the lifestyle there. Everybody's driving there. They damn ass cars, okay? And you're contributing. Even if you're, but I'm living over here and I don't have the bad air quality that is in the downtown area. Well, don't you feel for those people? I mean, those people here, they have some serious health issues. Asthma attacks, young children having a lot of issues because of the smoke and the smog that's coming in from the highways and the, everybody has to drive to work. I mean, it's just like, honestly, kind of crazy. Anywhere you want to go, gotta drive. Whereas somewhere in Manhattan, for instance, or DC, there is also metro in DC, obviously not as integrated and as convenient as Manhattan. But yeah, you want to go from Lower East Side to Sullivan Street Spice Shop and I don't remember where it was, but around Soho, which, by the way, yeah, I always used to go there. Any of you know that place? Sullivan Street. I swear. We're just doing a travel right now. We're just traveling. Yeah. I feel like I'm revisiting all these places. Let's go to the Sacral. Oh, then Greece. Okay, that's another place I wanted to talk about. Something with New York. Remind me. So, but yeah. Hi, boo-boo. So, but yeah, we were saying that return it. I'm seeing a dinosaur. LA, like, you have to drive even just to go, like, one street over, practically. I mean, there's no such thing. And I mean, for so many reasons, I think it's just, it also lends to the psychology of the city. Like, everyone's in their own little bubble. I don't know. I love organic stuff. I love health stuff. You know, great resources as far as that in LA, but it wasn't enough to keep me there, clearly. And DC is definitely not as progressive in that respect, but it's starting to become so. New York is, I think New York may even be in some ways ahead of LA when it comes to those things, because it's just like this metropolis, like super center of, you can find anything, you know, there kind of thing, like things from all different countries and just everything. It's like the best of everything there. That's what I loved about that place. Because there's so much competition, right? So it's like they're all sort of pushing each other to, yeah, so there's so much, like, it drives so much research even, I feel like, in terms of New York. Whereas it's more like the image in LA. You know, you see people going, and it's like a scene thing. Like, you go to LA, like, you go into Irwan, which, yeah, I mean, I'm glad they have it, better than not, but $20 for a smoothie, biodynamic, organic, okay, and then you are standing outside, smoothie in one hand and a cigarette in the other hand, and it's just a vibe thing, you know. It's more of like a vibe, and I started to get kind of annoyed by that and irritated by that. Like, this it's not about being a statement, it's about it really being, like, truly also accessible for people. Yeah, this lifestyle shouldn't just be something that, it, you know, is like a luxury type. Well, it shouldn't be a restricted lifestyle. How do we say? You know, it shouldn't be like a fashion statement, but it is. I think it is. And yeah, people in LA, like, I mean, true, like, they do kind of care, but then they also, yeah, I just personally feel like LA is also just kind of slow and musty. I'm really sorry. I feel like maybe some people maybe will be offended by this, but I get a musty, stagnating energy with LA. That's for me. All right, you're entitled to your own interpretation, but yeah, I get very depressed when I'm there. I get very it's too heavy, and the weather is a bit muggy, and for me, you know. But yeah, did a lot of my growth, my soul growth there. Did a lot of my you know, I started the channel there, more or less, kind of. I was birthed there. I was born there. Oh, does it? That would be so interesting. It does give me Neptune. It gives me kind of like, and another thing is, I love history. Like, walking through a town, a city, and feeling like the history's been preserved. I love that. Like, I love just walking down the street and, like, just enjoying the cobbles on the path. You don't get that in LA. And it started to just get really depressing for me. Really boring and depressing and just claustrophobic. So I had to leave. Yeah, I had to leave, and I just ran away, and I'm now here in DC. DC is its own beast in, like, terms of being characteristic of, in some ways, something great, something annoying, something meaningful. This city is very controversial. It is interesting. I never thought of DC as a place that I would ever want to be living at. I'll be very honest. When I was applying to colleges, you guys know the story probably by now, that I was obsessed with Boston. I visited when I was 12, really was so bent on going to school there. Still applied to some colleges around, sprinkled in different states, DC being one of them. Visited, didn't have any sense for the city. of attachment, nostalgia, none of that. I was like, no, I don't want to go to school here. You know, I was not attracted to the city, but it wasn't until my sister went to school in the city that then I visited her and things happened and different contracts, you know, started to become more important to take a more introspective look at. And so, yeah, here I am. And it's really grown on me. I won't lie. Like, this is a city where, you know, it's also not New York in a lot of ways, where there are things that I could just say, I'm gonna know a place like New York. There's also no place like DC in some respects. Quality of life much higher in DC. DC is much cleaner. It's actually inhabitable, much less smoking, which is a big thing for me. I get very upset when I see people imposing on the health of other people. If you're going to be a smoker, you should be in a room, close the windows, and smoke in there, you with you. Don't go in. Now, I know that's controversial. You should unsubscribe. Don't smoke, okay, where there are other people around. That's your decision, okay? And so, yeah, I'm very, very sensitive to smoke. Like, literally, like, if I smell it, in general, light workers, you have very sensitive bodies. Chemical reactions, allergies, you know, your skin, okay? I've always been this way. If something doesn't sit with me, I immediately start reacting to it. And, you know, with smoke, it's like I feel like my body is immediately reacting. My nostrils, I start getting, you know, this reaction. It's like, so, and that's something that, you know, that's one of the factors. Like, I don't know if I could ever go back to that in New York. Every street corner, you know, you got that. Some parts of New York may be a little different, but yeah, that started to get out of control. Even like recently when I visited, oh my goodness, when I was with Isaac, I had to close his nose like while we were walking around because there was all this weird exhaust smell from these little kebab stands. So it's all different things, you know, but your priorities change over time. And so over time, my priorities really did change. And the more that I've spent time in DC and really reacquainted myself with nature, especially after having spent time in LA, where I was spending a lot of time because of my spiritual awakening in nature, I started to really have different priorities. And quality of life is important. I don't want to live, in a basement, no light, no vitamin D, you know, I mean, and, you know, these things. So anyways, and yeah, I mean, now I've got dogs, and so I think about their health as well, and our lifestyle we couldn't have in New York. I mean, you just can't have that in New York. Yeah, you can't. I mean, yeah, in DC you have the river, Virginia. You've got, you know, bike paths everywhere. Like, I wouldn't ride my bike in New York ever. I mean, it's too dangerous. So, but yeah, but DC has its own like love and light crusty vibe. Like DC has history, like we say, you know, and there's a lot of, we still see that from an energy standpoint. The grid here is very, very hot. It's molten hot. It's very controversial. If you are living in DC, there's a reason. It's not going to be random, and there's a purpose for you there. This is what I hear from the guides. I know some viewers here have lived in DC before. You probably can attest to it. So there's a very strong current that runs through DC. And so if you're here, you're on agenda, we'll say it, okay? You're not like just hanging out. And that's how it's felt for me. I have my Saturn line here running through DC. Return it, clear through. I'm seeing dolphins. And this is the first time I ever settled down. Like, I have always been a free, wild bee. I've always been traveling from my young years. I've always been into traveling, and this is the very first time I've ever really settled down, you know, lived in what spot. It's been some time. So, and I've learned a lot. The city has really been very, very hard in many ways, so-called hard. It's been eye-opening. The Mason, right. And, I feel like DC, you know, it kind of awakens you in some ways to a lot of things that, if you're living out other cities, kind of lullabies that, you know, what I like about DC is that, you know, there is sort of like, there is a heavy presence when it comes to Interestingly, it actually has a lot of history when it comes to the occult. Do you guys meet a lot of lightworkers in New York, by the way? Side note, like, do you feel like there are a lot of lightworkers in New York City? Because I know, yeah, like, there are a lot of lightworkers in New York, even though, you know, it's a very hard grid, as Sim said. Right? Yeah, right, Andre? No nature in New York, just buildings, right? More or less. Queens has, I mean, some of the most amazing naturist neighborhoods. But yeah, Manhattan, oh man. And that was at a time where I mean, I didn't have my spiritual awakening yet. I remember my last sentiment moving out of New York was fuck this city. No, that was my, because everything was adding up, like, between these so-called bosses who were exploiting me, to all kinds of stuff, rodents and stuff, and just a lot of stuff, and someone I was dating at the time, and just, you know, when it's time, spirit pushes you out of where you need to get pushed out of. Return to clear threshold. Do any of you have a vision of me living anywhere other than DC? I'm kind of curious. I know Alicia mentioned one time, she was like, you're in DC for a period of time, but I don't see that as your long-term place. What do you guys see if you do have visions? Y'all are a psychic bunch. Interesting. I can imagine it's probably very choppy. Yeah, the waters in New York, very choppy, because you do have very high caliber of light workers. I feel you do in New York, but then also, yeah, I mean, yeah. This real estate mogul, he was posting a video. The first thing he said, a lot of reptilians in New York, and I mean, it wasn't a spiritual video, he was just talking about real estate. For him to come out and say that, I mean, yeah, it's obvious news. But what about Chicago? You got a download on me, Mimi? Go for it. Mimi. And then maybe, Mimi, you also got one. Spirit's like, come on, share. I feel it. I do feel it that Europe is... But I'm like, how the hell is this going to happen? How am I going to get to Europe with the 3 booby boys? I don't want to, you know, I don't want to put them in the cargo of a plane, you know? So it's like, return, clear throat. Who knows? Really? Wow. Let's clear return. Mm-hmm. I one day do hope to open like some kind of like sanctuary or something. Massachusetts, yeah. When I visited Salem, I could imagine for a hot minute that I would be living there. Yeah, but then spirit pushed me out, got kind of creepy towards the end, I gotta go. Yeah, Andre, same in DC. Like I don't have any. Spirit keeps me in a very tight quarter. I don't, which is different from in New York for me. When I was in New York, I was, at least at the time, you know, it was very easy to make friends, you know, it was a different energy, at least with my lines that run through their with my astrology. Here, Spirit doesn't want me talking to nobody. I have, like, no friends. A lot of people here from time to time, you know, hey, like, let's, like, you know, connect. No, my Spirit guys cut it off. They don't want me talking to nobody here. I literally haven't met, I really don't have, so... Kentucky? Maybe it's a past life. I have a very prominent, Kansas. I have a prominent line going through Kansas, Louisiana. I don't know what's with that. I feel a very strong connection to Louisiana. I felt really at home in Salem. I felt like I could exhale and just like lay there. But then I have this other side to me that loves like big city life, and I started to think like, you know, I got an iPhone. What if I got an issue with my iPhone? I have to go all the way into the city. I have to hike into Boston. No, I can't. I don't like feeling isolated like that. So, return it. I'm hearing something about Emery. Yeah, I am really curious about y'all's downloads. You guys are... Remember Austin? He foresaw that I was going to have children. And I was like, what is he talking about? He said one of them was going to be Gemini. And then one of them is going to be Scorpio. And then you're going to have your children before you meet your person. I think he said that the person that he saw me with was going to have... he said he would be very curious or something. I don't remember even. It was a lot of Mercury he said he was going to have or something. I don't know. But I don't know if he was just picking up on Isaac. I'm hearing something about ashwagandha. Interesting sim, yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm fully just in, like, my... Yeah. Clear. I see a record here. Wyoming? I always had an affinity for Wyoming. Interesting. I almost went to Rochester. Anyone know of a cruise that would go to Europe? I can imagine. I think I would have to take a boat to London. Or even getting that. Let's take a boat to London, and then we'd have to get off. Somehow catch a trolley train ride over to Spain. I don't know. And then the Titanic thing. The whole Titanic thing. I feel like we have like a connection to every place on this planet. Like Greece, Turkey. I always had this thing for Turkey. Oh my god. I don't know what's with that. I was like obsessed. My Silk Road class. Return it. Yeah, the honk. Silk Road in school. I was obsessed with that class. Istanbul. Fascinated by how East meets West. Yeah. What about family? Are you guys, like, do you feel like your spirit guides want you sort of in a more, like, an insulated energy from family and people you've known as well, for example? I almost went to Greece, decided not to do it last minute because it was getting too complicated. All my family wanted to come, and then we ended up not just doing it. I was going to go live in a cave right before I moved to DC. So instead they have this vision for me. Poetry. Poetry. Poetry, please. Yeah, and then when I was in, I don't know what's with Greece, but I do feel a bit of a weird antagonistic energy with Greece. Like, one time I almost got food poisoning from something with Greek food or something. And then I met this guy who was talking about how he visited Greece, and he was kind of like a so-called woke. Like oh, you know, when I went there, the karma was really hard, and he was explaining that to me. And then I ended up not going to Greece during that time that I was almost going to go to Greece. And then when I was in New York, I was frequenting this Greek, this Greek play. This lady who was Greek. She opened her little shop. She was a total bitch, okay? Not like, you know what I'm saying, like a reptilioid, okay? So, and then there was that, and reminded me a little bit of the whole Italy thing with Sienna and Milan, but like a prejudice type, you know, thinking she's too cool, okay? I don't know, return it. So, I'm kind of like, I don't know, maybe I'll hold off on Greece, but that's another thing, yeah. What else? Any of you been to Greece? Why am I not able to say it? What else? Okinawa, Japan, obviously. I love Japan. It was in Okinawa. And have you been to Okinawa? That island is... wow. I feel a lot of light workers, they would... yeah, they have a connection to... that's where I did the... in Hawaii, that's where we did the corona reading. But yeah, you know, again, like, everybody has their birth chart, their karma, and etc. So Rome was traumatic for me. Some people, you know, they have a totally different experience. So always use your intuition. Don't take this as fact, of course. I mean, duh, you know, for sure. Hey, Surfing Maui Girl. What about Florida, guys? I had a psychic one tell me, once she told me something about Oregon, Seattle. Yeah, she said as well, but she said Florida. She said she saw me in Miami or something. I do have a very prominent line going for Miami. Never made it. I figured it's all partying and I'm not into that, so I don't drink and I don't do that, so I don't know. Again, not judging anybody here, but yeah. It's going to the sequel. Interesting, Katie. Yeah. I mean, when she said that, it was very random to me. I was like, huh? Never thought of that. I have a Mars line going through there. That lady could have been a saboteur. She did try to... yeah, okay. So anyways, but beyond that, what else? What else? Anybody live in Chicago? I love Chicago. I did visit. Very briefly. Loved the vibe. We didn't spend enough time there. For some reason, I feel like I would really like Cuba. Havana, Cuba. Sometimes. Yeah, it was a month ago. I just randomly found this shirt. Again, the shirt thing. Something about, yeah, maybe it's a past life, who knows. Right, yeah. What did you think, Andre? Of Florida. That happened to me in a subway, Mimi, in New York, yeah. She approached me in the subway. Interesting. Where else? Yeah. What about Texas? People talk about Texas all the time. Yeah, but then it's like... I feel like Spirit wants me around people. Like, there's I love nature. Like, I dream of having a cabin. But there's something about the city. Like, I feel like in that way... return it. I'm kind of, like, it's a... what's the word? Not an irony. It's like... I like nature, but then I love... this has always been something. I love nature, but then I love also the city. I don't know how to explain. That's another thing, Alyssa. So yeah, that's great you're mentioning. Because that's another thing. Like, I feel a lot of this is also, like, your dollar. Where your dollar's going to. At a certain point when I left New York, you know, I was like, I don't want to give my money to the city. It's just trying to, like, engulf me. At the end of the time that I was in New York, I started to feel like the city was really trying to destroy me or something. From everything, the range, from an emotional standpoint, from this, that. It's like, and so I started to feel like, you know what, no, I want to give my money. Where do I, and same thing with LA. I don't want to give my money to LA. What are you guys doing for this issue when it comes to, you know, cars? And this city of LA should be boycotted. Can we get real? Why we have so many cars? You guys you don't give a damn about these people who are, you know, have to live in these neighborhoods where there's horrible air quality, you know, and just so you can have the comfort of your car. Don't tell me you're liberal and you're doing stuff like that. That's where the politics is a little, like, yeah. So something is problematic here, okay? Yeah, I don't want to give my money to a city like that. So, yeah, that's part of it too. Okay, there are things that I respect about DC. I respect the city is clean and well kept. I respect that there's also all different kinds of people. That's another thing about LA that New York that I love. That on the subway, you literally have everyone there. You've got return to clear. Yeah, woman wearing a $1 million mink coat standing next to someone who is playing music on a violin. You know, we're not judging. So, and that's something very important. I do feel that a little less obviously than in New York, but yeah, in DC I feel it more than I do in LA. And I know people come on, oh, but we have our little communities, you know. It's like, no, but they're not integrating. They're in their community and they're boarded up, okay? I don't care what you say. You can get upset. Some people, yeah, whatever. I'm here in the name of Muhammad. Return it. It's like, what's the good of having, you know, a lot of different types of this eclectic mix of people, but then they're segregated and they feel, I feel that. I feel like also there's a certain type of this sort of like yuppie group in LA, and it's just like, you know, it's like, what good is that? All these people with this organic stuff, but then it's only this type of people who are like taking advantage of these resources because they can afford it. I don't like that. That's something I don't want to contribute to that. So it starts to really, that's part of what turned me off. And that's part of also my mission here. I really want to make, I like integration. Okay. I'm a moon sign Sagittarius. I don't like segregated energies and segregated waters. And, you know, is it still in DC as well to an extent? Absolutely. But here on an energy plane more than anything, here, you know, it's on the energy plane, and it's not about what, you know, your so-called race or your so-called, no, it's something on the, I've seen it in all kinds of people here. It's that Freemason energy. And that's why it can be very diluting, distracting when you're judging someone based on, oh, this person's this, so they must be open-minded, they must be of the light. Nope. Okay, people come in all kinds of forms, shape shifting. So yeah, in this city, I see that as an undertone. It's an undercurrent thing. It's like people against you on the energy plane. It's not a cultural thing. Anyways, but what I love about DC, a lot of tourists, a lot of different people from around the world coming here visiting. I think it also says something about the people you meet, like people, the types of people in DC. Types of people in New York, types of people in LA. People in LA, you know, yeah. People I feel who like LA, they're the type of person maybe, you know. And so you meet people, I don't know. That's another thing. I never really wanted to make like a lot of friends in LA. I didn't feel like I really resonate with, anyways. But New York, it's like you find a lot of people like with that same kind of mind. You can. But still it's the energy thing, and your guides will decide when it's time for you to find your tribe as well in the 3D. I certainly don't feel like I have in the 3D. Which is okay, you know. It's always like give and take. Like we're expanding and accelerating, and this is ascension. So I feel like you guys honestly are like my family, my best friends, and Isaac and Alex, and, you know, this is like my tribe. Yeah, the superficiality, right? Another thing is, like, I used to really be into, like, wow, fashion, you know, cool, like, it's a fashion-forward city, but then when you awaken, you start to see it, like, in a different way. Like, why is that? Okay, so this person wearing this name brand, what does that really mean? Like, you start to see, there can be, though, it's not all fashion is toxic, but there's a type of person who just wears it just to wear it, and then there's a type of person who wears it, like really wears it, and they integrate it, and it's a different vibe, you know. But I started to get really turned off by that. But then I can't live without it, I feel. I've come to accept that I'm, you know, I'm of both worlds. I love me, my fashion, my 3D, but then I also love me, the higher dimensional reigns. Yeah. And I have a lot of family who's really contrary. They're against me being out here on my own and trying to make it like oh yeah, you're all alone. No, I'm not alone. okay? And you have to be brave and take those steps, like, return it, okay? Feel more alone, yeah, when you're not able to truly connect. You know, we all had those moments where we're sitting in a room with so-called family, and you feel, like, uncomfortable as hell. What good is that? Start to see beyond people when you return it. It's ascension. So when you ascend, you there's no such thing as like we should be friends, we should be spending time together. And quite honestly, like, I'm okay, like, alone as well. I need to be alone. It's like a vitamin alone time, especially I guess now, you know, this time is precious. Just as people, I cannot understand how, like, you don't have, like, so-called friends. It's like, I can understand how you can, like, constantly be having friends and not having any alone time and spending, you know, what, you're not talking to yourself. Like, ew, you gotta exfoliate your aura. When do you have the time to do that? Oh, you don't? Return it. Yeah, so it's like to the point where it's like burdensome to have to interact with people who are not of the light. So it's just, I'm not going to interact at all then. I don't settle. I'm not like shy. Like, I need friends to feel more relevant. I'm not trying to like flex. I'm just saying what is the real reality. I could be very social if I want to be, but I choose not to integrate now at this point. Like, if I don't settle. Yeah, and I'm sure many of you are very similar. Your guides, because you have to preserve your energy. Like, why? It's all an agenda. We're non-resonant, so why are we still debating? You know, when you're interacting with someone, you're debating kind of, you know, where are we going in this life? What's our purpose? It's never just aimless, mindless chit-chatter. Something is always manifesting in that moment as well. Anyways, I just stopped really being able to resonate with a small talk space with people who are not outside of the matrix. So it's a more narrow group of people for sure. Which is, again, okay. I'm perfectly fine. I'm like, okay. Even before the boobies, you know. I love talking to myself. I love what I do. I love channeling, right? It's like the most connective thing. I love talking to my guides. That's why these people, so successful, they have the biggest networks. They're going to parties every night, and they're like super depressed because you're not like really interacting with those people. You're just on the surface. Ice skating. Turning the sacral here. Matrix, yeah. Right? Same thing with dating, you know? That's been a test that's come my way a few times too. It's like, why should I interact at all? Like, it is important. Are you woke? That's something also recently, like, has been a big thing that's come up. I started to realize, you know, I don't want to date someone who's in the matrix. Like, I started to really just clarify that. Why, you know? It's like, these people that you meet, it's like, great, now we have to, like, you know, kind of, like, skirt around this weird conversation, like, you're someone hidden in society and you have to hide who you really are. Like, hi, I'm actually really into spirituality. And have to explain that to them. Why should... No, like, you shouldn't be the outlier. You know? We have to fight for this minority, so-called. We have to fight for this group by way of not settling for matrix people. I have to say it like that, yeah. These matrix munchers. Munching away at our hairline and our time. And at our time and our patience. So it extends into, like, dating for me personally. Like, I'm getting even more, like, I was very careful always, but, yeah, I was never, like, hook up tight, but even more, you know? And I'm not saying nothing about nobody. Like, there are times where you feel you need to experience certain things, but this is a very serious now, even more so. Like, why should I be with someone who's in the matrix? Give them my energy? Exactly, Mimi, yeah. It's like, this should be commonplace. Why are you in the matrix? Like, you should be explaining to me why you're still in the matrix. We should flip it, really, you know? And so it's like, but if you're dating someone, then you're sort of like, you're giving to, you're feeding, you're kind of voting their agenda, you know, because it's not random. If you are dating, talking, the more you're talking, the more, if you're touching physically, especially you're spending time together, sleeping together, you know, you fall asleep together, wake up together, you're astral traveling together. This is like it's like you're sort of like politicians for a certain agenda, and you're campaigning together. So it's like, what's your motive? And there should be no reason why their motive should be more important than yours just because you're in the minority right now. Return in the throat chakra, just because you're so-called in this minority space on this planet as an enlightened being. Why should you be a minority in terms of the morals that you stand for here like that? Okay, so yeah, no, you shouldn't be. You should be prioritizing those things. Like we have to be brave like that though, because I think part of it is like lightworkers dating out of default people in the matrix. Like, I don't know. This is just coming through now. Like, it's just something in spirit wants to maybe like emphasize right now. We've never really talked about this, but dating people in the matrix, it's like, why? Like, why should I do that? You know, it's like, it is a factor. You know, like, it is a factor. Can you ask what? Yeah, go for it. You mean like a question? Sure, go for it. So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this is something really important. This is something really important that I think we glaze over. We think my spirituality is just my own conversation with my own higher self and it's personal. But then why do it's like we hide it as if it's something that we can't actually integrate into practice. Integrating into practice is boycotting conversations that you really just don't believe in. No, the Capricorn was not woke. Oh, no. The Capricorn was heavily, he was completely infiltrated in, you know, I'll say it like this. In some ways, I think when we meet people, we can see where they have a higher timeline. We can see where they, in some ways, wish they were strong enough to side with that timeline. However, they don't. And the reality was that he just didn't. He chose blue pill. He did. I think that he knew that it was really against his higher timeline to do so, but that's what he did. And so the reality speaks for itself. His reality was that he voted blue pill, and that's that. And so my guides, we couldn't interact any further after that. It's like, well, if that's what you're doing, then we're not going to interact at that point. I mean, you're not going to fight for this cause. Then why should I give you me? Like, it became a kind of tribal thing, you know? Yeah, it's like, you're kind of like prejudiced against the light. That's kind of how it felt. And he was very religious, and that's another factor. But I know the spirit has been having me circling around for whatever, in the last years especially. Thank God it stopped, because the oppressive energy in the religious circles was getting out of control. They almost, God forbid, tried to take my life. Okay, this was getting out of control. 111 right there, God forbid. You know, I'm very protected, but I saw some very scary things that people were willing to. I saw the demons dancing. Okay, yeah, and but Spirit wanted me in those conversations. They needed to make something very clear to me about why we're here again. You know, it does matter. You know, because I would come from the standpoint, well, I don't want to judge people, you know, so what, he's religious, I'm not religious, but let's just see, like, you know, but it does really matter, yeah, and he was trying to, like, kind of, one or another, project onto me that his way is, that it's his way, first of all. It's not his way, he's obviously, I mean, he did not even know, he could not even answer the questions that I would ask him of his religion. He didn't know. I'm a very open-minded person. Actually, interestingly, I always dated someone who was religious. Almost everybody who I dated was pretty religious. I kept an open mind, all different religions. I kept a very open mind. Hey, what's your religion about? Like, I'm curious about it. He wouldn't even be able to answer it. All he knew is that, you know, yeah, that it's kind of like right. It's like, I don't know what that even means. What is right? There's no right. So, anyways, yeah. If I had to judge it, no, he was not woke. But in a lot of ways, you know, it was very challenging because I felt that he was, he could have been You know, it's like I kind of feel that, you know, and there was a nostalgia in the sense of like almost like brotherly love. Like I felt in a lot of ways that my connection to the Capricorn was, it wasn't just like a so-called, in terms of chakras, like we weren't just connecting on, like it felt sibling, very sibling. There was a sexual side, but it wasn't just that. There was a sibling side, which I had never felt with anyone else. Meaning that I felt kind of like I had to even care after him. I had my South Node, I think, we had a Moon-Pluto conjunction, which is very intense. Even like a motherly or sibling, kind of both. Maybe it was both. I know we had a lot of past lives together, so. But the point is, right, no matter what it is, like, it's their decision. And until they make that decision, it's all theory. And so all I know is that, you know, I couldn't trust him to serve me in what I was standing for. And yeah, that really hurt my feelings, but I'm not here for feelings. We have to transmute. So what's clear in the sacral, it's like you gotta detach, you know? Like, I felt like we did have some origin at some point where maybe we, you know, it's like when you're talking about the same thing and then they forget about it. You know, then they go off and they become all debutante and they forget about their origin. It's something like that. So, you know, we had a lot of Capricorns, so he was facing a lot of karma as well. And for whatever reason, my guys didn't want me involved in whatever he's about to move through. And I had a dream before we separated that I was on a train. Well, before they cut the cord, and then we weren't like interacting anymore, that I was on a train and he was on the train dock and he was hovering over his mother, who was laying back on her back, and he was like looking up at me and he was looking down at her, and he saw that I was moving backwards on the train and saying bye to him, and I knew it in that moment. My guys were taking me away. So yeah. And I never dated anybody who was woke. Like, you know, you know, part of it is also like where you can feel where people are begging for, I'm hearing redemption, I'm about to sneeze here, begging for release from the matrix in some way. And I know that, yeah, I mean, in some way, yeah, but in some ways he was calling for me. That's very interesting. I had a family member just call me right there. He was in a way telling me like, I need help, like I want to get out of this matrix, but he wasn't actually like strong enough to do it. And so, you know, you can see where people are telling you one thing but they're doing another. Like he wanted to in a way, like, because it was very interesting. See, the thing as well is like, of all the people that I've ever like crossed paths with, usually it's very hard to break it off, because there is this like, they know I'm of the light, but I challenge whatever their matrix is. And almost always it's been like that. Like I meet people who I need to challenge them in some way, and I've just come down to it, you know, where okay, like this is kind of like guidance, like I need to maybe guide you, and then my guys pull me away. And so hence again, they're usually in some kind of religious situation. He was in a way telling me I want to get out of the matrix, but I was in a way telling him back, I can't pull you out of the matrix, you pull you out of the matrix. And so he kind of like started to like even project this weird energy to me of like resentment, like that his karma is mine, my fault. Oh no. And at that, no. And he was mobilizing entities, so it's just as bad. Can't have remorse. So, but yeah, what do you guys feel? What do you guys read on that was the last cord that was cut before Isaac, and ever since then I haven't dated anyone like as a date, being with them like for real. I've been tested when I met when I had Isaac, and then it was really interesting. It was kind of clear. It was a more obvious test from Spirit. Like, this guy was all sex. He was also a Capricorn. He came in like kind of like a few weeks after I got Isaac. He was like more or less basically ready to be at my disposal sexually. And he was kind of like, yeah. So he had a very strong Capricorn energy. So I don't know. I got my North Node in Capricorn, so something about a test there. Yeah, because see, the thing is, and he was a very strong like character, like a very strong, like gives this like character of like Capricorn, which is the paternal energy, not gender, but paternal frequency, which we all have within us. And my North Node being there, like I am here to create that energy for myself. And the thing about the Capricorn as well, both, but really the major relationship that I would have had was that I was kind of like investing in that connection from the perspective of needing to have that Capricorn in my life to maybe bring more balance into my life, where I really actually wanted to create that for myself. It's like I don't want to be dependent on a Capricorn. He started to kind of get very dogmatic, the shadow of Capricorn, the shadow of Saturn, like and we can fall into it very easily, especially if it's our North Node or a very particular placement on our chart. We give that energy to another to fulfill. That's just not the point of the birth chart like that. You meet people who you're compatible with because they reflect where you are in balance and you've done that shadow work. So it was very hard to pull away because it felt like oxygen in some ways. And I tell that story all the time. So yeah, I think it was a past life with something about, God forbid, like something was coming through about the Titanic. And that other Capricorn I met, we went on that walk all the way down to the Titanic Memorial. I didn't even know. And then I channeled something because I was like, who's this guy? Like, Spirit wanted me to just kind of walk and talk with this guy. So I channeled, and what came through was a song right before I met up with him, before I knew we were going to go walk to the Titanic Memorial. It was a Phil Collins remix song. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. And it was a song that was describing someone like, I wouldn't be there for you. He's basically saying like, I'm not going to be there for you in the way that you would really need me to be. Like, how do we say, like, if I knew you, I have to get the lyrics. If I knew you were in trouble, like he was admitting in the song, like, if I knew you were in trouble, I wouldn't be there for you. Hold on, let me get the lyrics. Something about Blink-182. It was a very ominous song that, wow, the album is called Face Value. Weekend. Oh, duh. Okay, so that's why. Aw, you guys, thanks for spending your weekend here. That's really kind. This was fun. That's really kind. Dance class. Yeah, I love to dance. That's another thing. I'll hopefully get into that as well over time. All right, dolls. Thanks, Alyssa. Aw, that's really kind. Yeah, this is a great time. So I guess we'll put the Astro in the Astro chat. It's a great time to take the time you need. Jupiter can feel very intense sometimes. So just if you feel like you need to take time to return a lot of family contracts and karma. So yeah. Wait, this came through. It was a reading. We were talking about a purge. This totally came through. It was a purge. A Sagittarius. I think it was the first week of December. I explicitly remember we mentioned the need to purge. Yeah. 144. Whoa, I have 41% battery. 218 minutes and 44 seconds right there. Whoa. It smells like farts. Interesting. It was maybe a members read. Also, guys, like, what do you think about this whole thing, this warning with Sagittarius? And because that was coming through, I think it was in the December readings, like almost every sign was getting that second week. I'm hearing blunder. Sagittarius usually, to me, speaks of natural disasters. Sometimes, well, what goes on with the earth. Everything with intention, you know, but something is definitely coming, I think, in that second week. Any of you have any major downloads related to that? Because that's almost reminding me of the preemptive astro chart we had with the strength card who showed up unexpectedly, the surprise. I'm hearing, Mom, talk to me. Something about a tooth. Makes me think of a wisdom tooth. I feel like there could be a, you know, Spirit wants us to really, really heed with our intuition. It may not be a bad idea to possibly be on the lighter side with diet, fasting, meditation, resting. All right, guys. We'll come back maybe with part 2 with cards. Oh, maybe Spirit wants to. Maybe we should just pull a card on it really quickly. I'm hearing an earthquake. There's a specific mountain range involved here. I'm hearing the letter L. I'm hearing Lyle. Ow. I'm hearing something valley. I see a river that's connected to a mountain. I'm hearing POTUS. So we say it all the time, you know what happens politically. It's mirrored, right? Returning. Yeah, this is something political, I feel. This is something political. Something about a trip. Some of you may be thinking of, how many of you are planning on travels? I hear something about Concord. Concord, is that Massachusetts or Connecticut? I'm hearing something about Columbia. Regardless, I am hearing Connecticut is involved. Thank you, Mystery Moon. Oh, love and light. Oh, thank you for connecting. In the crown, yep. Spirit animals. So, some of you will receive, you know, I say it all the time. People say, why this person passed at this time, for protection. I'm getting a message for you right there for protection. They, people think, oh, you know, they're not here anymore. They're not as powerful. They're more powerful in the astral. So the timing is not random. If someone passes at a certain time, there is something that they want to play a part in on the astral that is for protection. So there's yeah. They were called. They needed to yeah. So you know, we don't see it, they see it. They see it before we do on this planet, where they may be of better assistance to us. I'm hearing he will call you. Interesting. So, Temperance. Oh, that could have been your message. Mom, call me. Something like that. Yeah, the animal does see you as their mother. Let's hear further. Temperance. So they may be wanting to connect. They want to be a guide to you. So they want you to establish this connection now on the astral. Yeah, Isaac is, he's shaking his tail. So that's a message. For 7 of Wands could be definitely Temperance. I was thinking of maybe doing like a spirit guide read. Would you guys be down at some point? Like a pick a card. 4 of Swords, 8 of Wands, 4 of Swords, 8 of Swords. Yeah, someone here is going to give you, many of you will get a message here. I don't know. It's either don't travel or do travel, but there's something here. The number 4. The 4th of December, we keep saying it. Something is coming on the 4th. Can I get a little bit more? I'm hearing Halifax. Ace of Wands. I'm hearing Williamsburg. We were just talking about that. Chariot. Thrush over. Let's clear to the right. Someone here, yeah. Maybe they're traveling or something to you or something. Can you give me a really quick second, guys? My grandmother did call me. Hold on a second. Okay. Sagittarius always to me speaks of the earth. There's something with the earth. There's something, it's a place, very particular place. Something about a train. This makes me think of that creepy Astro, remember, with the dude from the USPS box. USPS? He was traveling to visit you with his 25 cousins. It could be a timeline that you need to kind of skirt. Some of you, like, this timeline is coming and Spirit's like, don't take that wave. Something like that. Possibly. But that's, you know, heed your intuition. 10 of Swords. Let's see a little bit further. The Magician. This is with the Earth. Magician reverse. Yes. There's something here. Can I get a little bit more? There could be 3 people involved. Maybe someone wants to travel. I don't know. Let's see it here. I heard the letter L. Something about this earthquake with the letter L. Again, the 3 of Cups? Yeah. So, hold on. So, this is something about even a body of water. I see a stream of water. It's a river that relates to a mountain. 3 of Swords. Oh, so you're going to get a message about this 100%. You're going to already know in advance. Return it. Your guides are saying, like, don't attend that event for some of you, but always take your intuition. It's like they need you to hold the grid somewhere else, I see. Okay, so, yeah, some of you, they need you. This is, I see, like, a storm. You're braving this wind here. It's something like most people are going to go, but like you're going to realize you need to stay behind is what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. So, yep, 2 of Cups. Some of you, this is your love life. Oh. I got it. This is the Taurus reading. Remember where you were going to, the devil test in the first week of December, and then the 3rd week, you met that 5 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles. The true love of your life, that's what this is right here for some of you. This is your love life. Spirit is saying, don't, I'm hearing Rona, the day for getting out there, not the 1st or the 2nd week, the 3rd week. I heard that. You're going to meet the one. Like the Spirit's saying, you need to catch that portal. Like if you're trying to entertain these other portals and you're going to maybe lose sight of that portal, it's going to it's going to distract you. You don't want to be distracted. So hold out. Okay, yeah, you got a real love life coming here. Moment. 2 of Cups, 6 of Wands. Someone's gonna walk in. Don't get distracted. Re di bastoni, regina di danari. Somebody here could be visiting you. Let's see a little bit more. I'm hearing something about a rival. Maybe you have an ex who's coming back who suddenly wants to be with you. This is a test. I wouldn't get back with an ex in the 1st or 2nd week. Return it necessarily, but it's a general video. Always take it as you will. 3 of Pentacles. This is a Trinity, Holy Trinity energy. Somebody here wants to, yep. Your guys want to play Cupid. Something about a train. Fonte di coppe. So maybe they're, okay, it's very interesting because sometimes when something, let's say it, like, you're about to go find the most beautiful bouquet of flowers. Right before you find the most beautiful bouquet of flowers, you may go and, like, you walk into a store and you see this, like, bouquet of flowers is kind of, like, crumbling. And it's kind of old and it's like decaying, but it's like, well, but I was looking for a bouquet of flowers, but like that's not the bouquet of flowers. Do you see the energy? Like that wasn't. Keep going. Like don't stop at that first shot. 2 of Swords is gonna get better, much better. The time to see, you're gonna fall in love. Cupid gonna strike. I hear that. Some of you here, yeah, it's about love, 100%. Can I get a letter charm, Spirit? Return it. Yeah, there's someone here who is not going to be good for you, but this person going to approach you in the 1st and 2nd week. They're going to really, this is someone who's going to be drama. Okay, this is going to end in drama. You're probably going to feel it. It's going to have this feeling of, if I don't do this now, then I won't find someone else. That's not your person. That's not it. Ace of Cups. They're going to call you. You need to hold off. I hear a big train horn. Doot, doot. Hold off. Nope. 6 of Cups. Something is coming, but don't settle at the first at the first scene of the movie, because the climax is called the climax for a reason, and it's about to get really good between Return It, your guides, and this other person they want to connect you to. So 3 of Pentacles. Where's the letter charm box? A sec, guys. Hearing Bill. Yeah, it's gonna be weird the way this happens, because at first, you're gonna think this other person is like that. It's about this, but yeah, you really need to hold off. I just hear it again like that. This other person gonna be similar, but it's different. Rain, we spelled rain, rake. Yeah, you're gonna even win something. It's your finances. Spirit keeps saying it. Hold off. Don't buy whatever you're thinking about buying in the first 2 weeks of December. Wait until for slight number view, I don't know what you're looking for, but I would hold off until next August or next October. September I'm hearing as well. Next year. I don't know, maybe it's a seasonal thing and you realize it's too late already in the season, I'm not going to do it. Wait until next year, October, August, and September. We also spelled air. Aries. You could be meeting an Aries. So maybe this is an animal. You may adopt an animal. You may meet... Yeah. Well, you may have like an opportunity. Maybe you have an option, but... We have Kia. Could be a car. Maybe you're buying or selling a car. We have Ireland. It feels really like maybe it is right, but it's not. I hear that in the first 2 weeks. So maybe about a mattress. Re di spade. 2 of Pentacles. I'm hearing I'm all alone. If you can keep going a little further, keep working at it a little longer, you're going to make it through. Wheel of Fortune. Re di spade. 2 of Pentacles. Regina di spade. This has to do with even something that you're going to get hired for. Just whatever you do, don't settle, don't give in. Cavalli di Danari, yep, 2 of Swords, and the Devil card. The Death card. Yeah, I'm hearing something about the letter M. This has to do with a move, a shift. I see Starship. Spirit is saying we're changing a few things on the Astral. Like, don't go to the mall yet. Don't go to the store yet. You know, the vibe is going to be that we got to still renovate on the Astral, okay? That part of the grid. So just don't go there. Yeah, I hear that. La Luna. We spelled Arkansas. Ark. So you're going to be hired for a position, but you have to really hold off. Something much better suited is on the way. So, yeah, someone's trying to sabotage you. Whoever this is, it seems like they're a really good person. No, they're not. This person's trying to take advantage of you, drain your energy, and waste your time. You got to wait. The 3rd week of December. Again, I just hear it again. But it's like, if you even entertain it, may waste your time. So, and then they want you to make this portal, basically. Yep. You see that Ace of Cups. Wow. Maybe it is the same person, but this is not the time, like the right time to do it with them. Okay. That's where you have to follow your intuition. We're going to get more on Astral members. Join us on members. Yeah. Wow. So, okay. Some of you have fame coming for you, but there's something that you have to checkmate. It's a certain karmic contract. I'm hearing the number 88. That's about, I feel for many of you, others is finances. There's something that you are going to open up as a portal, and it's like not just what you think you're going to get, but much more. Whoever this is that's coming in the first 2 weeks, you feel like they're going to speak to one very particular desire that you think you need met, but they don't have the whole package that you're looking for, okay? You think that they're going to be perfect for that one thing, but you actually need other things, and in that 3rd week, whatever comes through, that person can handle it all for you. It could be the same person, and if that's, for some of you, the case, like that person who comes in the 3rd week, they're going to be able to accommodate more than what they could have in those first 2 with you. They maybe need an upgrade. They may need a download. They may be going through something karmic, you know, that sort of thing. There is something about travel. Some of you have someone, though, just come in and just to waste your time. Is an ex of yours wanting to say sorry. If it involves sorry, I don't see that. I don't see that for many, but for some, you know, you always make your... Yeah, this is something like a really beautiful, juicy fruit, kind of like in a sharp, pointy, jagged basket with these edges, and it's poking you. You got to read the signs, you know? It's like, what is this real? Like, he's bringing like 5 of Swords with the Ace of Cups. Doesn't exist. We have here in the next third week 6 of Cups, and that's what you're really looking for. This is a bit of a mirage with the Ace of Cups in the second week of December. You have the Ace of Wands. This is someone here just coming in for their own selfish, their own intention, their own needs. Return it down to their body, their own pleasure. This is giving me the Astro chat. Yeah, you checked out. Now you're going to have someone here. See, these 2 weeks are you doing karmic cleansing. Then the third week, you have someone who comes in to accommodate who you now are, given the cleanse that you move through. Maybe you need some upgrades. Maybe you need some, yeah, I'm hearing Skippy peanut butter. Interesting. I'm not endorsing that brand. I don't know if it's organic. I don't know if it's got corn syrup. So please just, yeah, please do your research. Always question whatever you put in your body. Hi, Alex, if you feel guided. Return it. Somebody gonna find, if you were, I'm gonna be very honest, like if you entertain whoever that is in the first 2 weeks, you're gonna find out something about them that just won't work for you. Like, you're not a smoker, you figure out he's a smoker. It's giving me Mercury retrograde. That's what that is. Okay. Yeah, you have a guy. They're telling you, hold off. We got the real person here. Okay, and their key will really work. This person jingling the key many times is like fishy. It's giving you like, I gotta check out. Something's not in alignment. Okay, it's like maybe you're looking for a new apartment or something. The broker, he's trying to jingle many different keys. No, I think I'm gonna just wait on this whole thing. You know, maybe very tempting to settle in those first 2 weeks, but you'll have much better, yeah. I mean, you'll have a place with a much better view if you wait it out 3 weeks in. That's what I hear, but you always take it too long. Yeah, they're trying to sell you on something. This is not going to be a good long-term thing. Like when maybe you arrive and then you start living there, and it's like, oh my God, I just realized there's this big wall in front of me. No, okay, don't sign on that. I hear that. I'm hearing baby. It's cute. Hi, boo-boo. Yeah, but it's very tempting. Some of you, it's a position. You could be an actor. Maybe you get a gig. You're in the Goodfellas. This guy's hiding something. I don't know who it is for everybody, but yeah, he's hiding something. It could be like someone you interviewed with. Some of you, he won't make eye contact with you. You just feel something's off or fishy. Some of you, he's acting like he's blind. It's like, why are you not able to stare in my eyes? He's hiding something. Yeah, he's definitely hiding something. Maybe some of you, he knows, like, that whatever he's telling you, like, this company's gonna bust in a few months. He knows that this is not a long-term thing, but he's telling you he's hiring for the long term. No, it's just a few months. He knows that his other colleague is gonna come back in. He's gonna have to put you on the line. I hear that. 3 of Cups here. Sorry. He's a ghoster. I'm hearing that. If it's a romantic thing, I'm hearing the letter J. Jerome. Jeremy. Jaren. Jerome. I hear again. Yeah, he's a player, guys. You could feel it. Something about Chinese food. Here we go. It's on the eye contact or the lack of it. He won't make eye contact with you. He won't look in your eyes. I feel like an employer energy though as well. So I don't know if maybe he's like trying to work in, or he's saying it's for work, but then he really wants to hook up with you or something. I don't know. He's acting like he's on the line with you there in those first 2 weeks of December, but he's not. And I'm repeating that because I know some people just coming in right here, like they don't know what we're referring to. Is the first 2 weeks. It's important, I guess, this morning. La temperanza. Yes, Spirit's saying, can you wait? Yeah. Some of you, you're very like maybe attracted to this person. You feel like you just want to, he's Jewish. I want to get to know him. I don't know what that's about. Maybe you can tell where you're sort of just breezing. It's like, you don't know him really well enough, but then you're eager to jump in. I don't know. Maybe it's a metaphor. He has some cookie cutter boxes he checks off, but Spirit is saying, please, like, but they can't force you. So, Four of Swords. Yeah, they want you to ice him out. Honestly, they may do it. They're gonna do it for you. Yeah, they're gonna... I feel they don't really like whoever this is, I'm gonna be honest. Like, they're gonna silence him, okay? Whoever, whatever. They don't want you getting all his text messages kind of thing, okay? Okay, now repeat. First 2 weeks of December. Regina di Bastoni. But see, you are kind of at this point, it's like when someone sees that you're going to be a shining star and they're coming in with some small offer before you really know your worth, and then they want you to settle for that. It's like that. Some of you, you're maybe a model or an actor, an actress. Spirit is saying, like, this is also not like that. Maybe it's a negotiation. Like, don't settle in these first 2 weeks. Push it off. Tell them, I know who I am. I know my worth. I don't need to get back to you immediately on. Yeah. Okay. He's not making eye contact with you. He's kind of looking to the side with the paperwork. That's how you know who this is. Yeah. He feels kind of guilty, honestly. Something about dandruff. I don't know what that's about, but he's kind of turning you on. He's getting you, like, kind of ready to sign on the dotted line. Mirror. I can love you like that. Whoa. Maybe, like, you're both not right. It's giving me a little bit young love. Gee. Yeah, this is your spirit guide. Is going to give him the booty. The booty. They're going to try to stand up in between all y'all. Oh, okay, love. You're right. I'm going to go get them groceries. I'm going to go get you guys your stuff, dolls. I don't pass out on the bike, y'all. I didn't sleep, but I also, yeah. Whoa, but I'm feeling much better. I think I'll be okay. Whoa, Isaac. Blow better. I can love you like that. Like, they're gonna turn his microphone down. I see something about a swimming pool. I can make you my world. Like, maybe his guys. Oh, his guys. His guys are like, what? Are you over promising? I'm hearing smile. Like, his guys overheard him, like, kind of promising her more tokens than he's earning right now. I don't know what that's about. Like, he's kind of, maybe he got turned on by, he got turned on by you, but he maybe not ready quite yet or something. How do we say this? Vanessa. Okay. He's gonna start, like, some of you, maybe this person wants to be your man, okay, but he's kind of like, he's using his mom's wallet a little bit. I don't know, something like that. Okay, maybe it's his guides. Like, they're like, hey, maybe it's a metaphor. It's not money. It's downloads, upgrades, shifts. You need to upgrade. You need to do more cleansing. I'm hearing that. For instance, like, so maybe you think you're ready. Return. You think this is easier than maybe it really is what I also hear. Maybe you think I'm just gonna, like, yeah, love him. Return it. Oh, I feel like some of you, maybe there's even a cord attachment already. He may get upset. You may get upset. Maybe you both want to run away. That's it. We want to be together. Oh my god. Okay. Maybe you all... Oh, can I see a little bit on this? Is this a different person? I keep hearing that song. I can love you like that. I can make you my way. They're all staring at me. Maybe you feel pressure. Maybe you need to do it, but you are being tested to hold off. It's like you're very tempted, but now's not the time. Yeah, I see you giving a speech, but, like, you're getting distracted a bit. It's like you need to keep your focus. Yeah, 7 of Cups, Temperance. This is a test for you. Maybe it is this person, but it's going to be tested. Return. It's going to be... Yeah, you and this person maybe are, like, kind of crushing on each other with the Hermit. But Spirit is saying, like, we need you. Can you guys hold it back? Like, you're going to be together because you have to be together? Yeah, I see them zooming. Spirit loves these little tests with a pencil in hand. I'm gonna zoom on your human. Like, you think you have to be together, or are you gonna be together because, yeah, it's about the flow state, possibly. It's about the starting point. Yeah, I see you are. Some of you are coming into a relationship 100%. You are coming in. You're going in. Your train is going into the terminal. You're about to dock. You can feel it. I'm about to dock. Oh my god, my stomach is tumbling. Tell me about kiwis, kawaii kiwis. This is this is like a lot of people. This is on the astral, a lot of people realizing this is when a lot of maybe twin flames come together. Two of Wands, yeah. It's like you and this person have to pretend, like you have to temper your flame for each other for some. Return it, yeah, this is someone you're meeting. It's even right before you meet them, you can feel their energy coming in, and then you're like, is it them? Is it them? It's like whoever you meet now is like, is this the person I have in dreams about? You see the energy? Like spirit is testing you for sure. It's interesting. They feel they gotta leash you up, honestly. Have a little bit of like a leash and a choker chain. Calm down, shoo, my human, whoa. I don't know. Okay, Two of Pentacles. Whoa there, buddy. Okay, I don't know. The humans like charioting off. You're ready to seal the deal. Some of you maybe it's giving me a little bit twin flame tracksuit. The moment that came through for Libra. Seven of Swords, yeah, right there. Yeah, maybe you met this person and then you did a double take and then spirit had to quickly close the curtain. No, it's not time yet. Uh-oh. We're cooking pies. Doesn't mean that they're ready though. It's like, okay, you're getting kind of yeah, you and this person standing outside. We heard it's like you're standing outside Astro. You're standing outside your spirit guy's office door, office hours. We want to make sure that, yeah, I mean, what? Hello, return it. Some of you, yeah. Something about the red, oh yeah, you're getting return, and some of you gonna have a child with this person. Something about a train. I just keep seeing a train. Something about a blowout. Someone is gonna blow their hair out. I see a blown out hair. Six of Cups. Maybe it's like giving me that feeling every day. Like, yeah, I'm gonna like act like my crush is here or something. Yeah, maybe you're gonna. Remember, whoa, easy now. This is definitely that read. The Libra reading. Even the Pisces, where you pop your head up into the astral. I'm ready, I'm woke. Remember that? And they were like, that was back in August. Yeah, the Ace of Cups, the Hermit. This is also someone who's crushing on you so hard. Stop. Oh my God. The Emperor and the Hermit, like he has identified you possibly. Amir, and I want to be the bee who helps that queen stir her honey and make it taste sweeter on her lips. Oh, this person is romantically interested in you. You guys, yeah, 100%. Return it. It's not just a political thing. I don't know. You're gonna know. It's not just a. I am here political again. Okay, so it's not, but it's not also professional. Return the heart. Yeah, he's getting like really. Some of you, spirit has to like. We hit the jingle too high. Wait, that was so cute. The way Alex was just like, he was propped up on the. I'm ready. Guys like spirit, maybe they came in too early. Like they gave the news and it started circulating. Did you hear that? Yeah, it's like, yeah, they maybe they hit the jingle too high a little bit too soon. Great, John now knows. Oh, they now know. It's like now they have to. Now that they know they have to do it double time lightning speed. We got to speed through this now. It's like, yeah, spirit guys, maybe it kind of like, yeah, something got leaked here. Emperor, I heard that I ought to meet her. I don't know. Oh my God, y'all are standing outside spirit's door, possibly. Two of Cups. Yeah, no, it's like, spirit. Where is spirit? Where are you? Are you lagging, spirit? Yeah, it's like everyone's looking for spirit now. Listen, I've spun all the potions that I needed to. Now, where is the? I'm hearing that headdress. I don't know what that's about. That could be maybe like we're saying. That's not the bouquet. That's a different bouquet altogether. Okay, that's a different thing. In the first 2 weeks, you're gonna meet someone else. Like maybe you have multiple people vying for you, and they're competing on the astral. It's like Hot Wheels with spurs. Okay, get off. I'm gonna make the portal. They're all trying to return it. This is where we say, spirit guides, they know ahead of time, and they're here to protect you and return it. They are here and they transcend to protect you. They come here to protect you, and then sometimes, depending on what's going on in the astral, it's about the weather. Return it. It's about what you need. So maybe you need more protection on the astral. There's something here where you are being protected. I feel like a lot of people here trying to come in. You probably have been shut in a lot. Like otherwise you would have a lot of offers, and like they don't want you. They want you like really ready for this one portal. It's just like, it is. Your spirit guides are perfectionists. Okay, 3 of Swords. Yeah. They want you to meet someone very specific. 8 of Wands. Somebody on a mountain range. I see somebody on a train moving through a mountain range. Yeah. 9 of Pentacles. Yep. Again, the 4 of Pentacles. Some of it's like your greasy uncle want to hook up with you or something. Sorry. Ew, what? Maybe he's totally not. Yeah, you have 2. This already came through. 2 Virgos. One is a shadow Virgo. My precious. Yeah. Then you've got another Virgo who's the Emperor. Return it. These are two competing timelines. Both of them want it. Both of them want. One wants to take you back. This is the Gemini reading. You got 1 foot in the door. One soulmate wants to move you forward. One wants to take you back. They are competing. They're racing. It's a race on the Astro. It's an Astro race. They both realize it. You're gonna put a vote. This person, one of them wants to take you back to a past timeline. This other person, I'm hearing Zesh Republic. This other person wants to take you to but you're protected, honestly. But like, yeah, Alex. So they want you to just. Oh my God, this other person, your ex or whatever, heard of this other person. Hold up, I heard he was like practicing a song that I sang to her in the last lifetime. Yikes, bro. You got a skateboard for him. Get him, like, on his way. Diamante. I'm hearing Joe Jonas. I still get jealous. They're going to just turn his microphone off. As we said it, they're going to silence him in the first 2 weeks. Return it. 10 of Pentacles. God forbid something about a comment. Alex! Alex! Don't worry, my ex is not coming back. Bitch. She's single. It's like, okay, yes, you got a spirit guys protecting you. They're biting at these weird alien forces. I don't know. It's however. It doesn't have to be a so-called ex. It could just be these weird extraterrestrials, okay, that want to examine her hairline closely, a little more close. No, get the fuck off of her, okay? Yeah, they want to just waste your energy, return it. You got weird, creepy weirdos. It's like astral predators. Hey, dolls. It's an astral, it's like a weird pedophilic energy on the astral. Return it. Don't touch her. I'm hearing that. Don't touch her. Okay, yeah. Some of you, it's your person, but it's people. Yeah, no, she's about to have her moment. Yeah, so your spirit guys have to play a fine line of, like, silence and, like, kind of trying to still, because when they communicate to you, like, the thought ping, you know, it's kind of like an erected statue a bit on this astral plane, and so other people, yeah, they don't want it to be public news, but they want you to but yeah, okay, anyways, surprise. Okay. Oh, this is the astral chat. On members, a surprise soulmate coming in. I think it was Capricorn. Diamante. Yeah, your guides are very, focused. They're also, like, they're putting the last few finishing touches on this interaction. Wow. I'm hearing, this is my work of art. Your spirit guys are so proud of this. Holy shit. That I'm hearing, that's my bitch. That's my bitch right there. He put the last finishing touches. What's that song? All the girls start to feel like this. Who's out running around that track at the dun. Ain't no holla back. That's my girl. She's not holla backing. My girl don't holla back at the last timeline. Thanks though. It's like your spirit guy gonna leave him a voicemail. I'm hearing yeah, again the hermit. So yeah, there's 2 people for sure, or 2 energies, whatever. But they got you all in the presidential cabinet waiting. Oh, return it for that. I'm hearing that bright blue, red dress. What? Wow, this is very important. This is very important, whatever this is. There's something here that is going to be brought together. Some of you, it's like a finale moment. It's a final moment. All right, guys? So as exciting as this message is, I do need to part. I need to take them to get the groceries and such, and I really don't want to go, but I feel like your spirit guides, yeah, there's ooh, they don't want to go. They also don't want to go. Like, they want to also give you, like, more downloads, but they need to get busy. Like, I feel like this is a moment where the spirit guides, they need to get to fucking work. I'm hearing that. It's like, we have 2 weeks to prepare for the wedding. I hear that. Oh, what? 2 weeks. Yep. The chariot. Il carro. I'm behind. I'm telling you, your spirit guides are extra. They're extra A+. When it comes to tests like these, I'll say, especially. Okay. All right. I say it. Il mato. It's a new beginning. You know what that means? A new beginning. Okay, wow. New beginning doesn't mean old. It means new. We got to carve the new timeline, the new portal. We've got to make it perfect so it's really clear. Whoa, some of you guys. It could be a metaphor. It could be sexual. Okay? If you haven't gotten physical for some time, like, you may be riding up on potential to change that timeline right there. We have the Il Caro and Il Mato. It is return it. It's an entrance. It's a formal entrance. I'm hearing King of Prussia. I don't know what. Someone's introducing somebody. Oh my god. They have to put a good, like, your spirit guides feel like there's a lot of pressure on them. They got to get the gas in the car and, like, everything. They don't want to be behind. Like, maybe they're talking to us in this reading. We gotta go now. I gotta go. But they do really, they're very excited, but it's like they don't want to talk too much about it. They gotta get in shape. Alright. Il Mato. I gotta get my headgear on. Where's my headgear? Yeah, your spirit guide's putting their flashlight on, you know, when you're going camping. Oh! Okay. Gotta get his feelings on his heart right there. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, they're like Shakespeare backstage. It's like directors. And they love this. They love what they're doing. And they want to make it perfect. And so, but, yeah, it's interesting. Maybe it's a surprise. It's like they don't want to say too much, you know? I can love you like that. It's like, but then you heard your spirit guides were singing in the shower, in the astral shower. They were singing, you heard the echo. Are those my guys? He can love her like... Did they just say that, like, he can love me like that? Oh, no, did I hear it correct? Spirit, y'all didn't just nun me up to forget to unzip me now, did you? What the hell? I heard you all in the shower with the echo chamber. Yeah, romance, R&B. What? You're not telling me what's up? It's like, they kind of feel like, no, it's not like that. It's not like, oh, they feel like they're they're a bit of a hard rock and a hard spot. Hard space, something about an airport. They don't want, like, it to come up like that. Like, no, it's not like oh man. They don't know how to say this. Alright. So yeah, they're gonna wait for space and time to figure themselves out.